We're gonna open up the Water Sewer Commissioners meeting. We're gonna be discussing the budget for 2022 and 23. No, 23. It is now April 1st and it's 12:30. President is Bob Josie, Colin here, Bob Sullivan. All right, Bob.
All right. So the salaries, those are based on full staff, and based on the numbers from Matt's compensation chart. What I was told by Gene to use for numbers.
So that's an increase of, let's see, salaries and wages last year was $416,860.
So if you start on, do you want to start on like one?
Just try to see what the increase in the salaries was.
So if I look at it based on these,
So the increase on,
I had 69,681. Get those two together.
so,
So that's what I was saying. If you just go down, if we went like wastewater,
mhm,
that's how it starts. So
yep,
if you look at the difference between wastewater, it was $32,536 increase over last year.
32,000.
32536.
Okay.
All right, so if we just, if you want to just quickly go down line item by line item.
What was the biggest increase in that, for that number, to come up with that number?
So there's 5 on the salary, there's 19 on the wages on full-time. And there was overtime went up by 8,000.
Okay, figuring with all the projects coming down.
Well, the overtime, I mean, we save on overtime right now because I do every other weekend, so that saves you all the overtime on every other weekend.
Mhm.
When we get to full staff, I'll cut back to, once every 4th week as opposed to every other week. So that's gonna take away your free weekends and add someone that's getting paid. And then I think Matt was going with it was a larger COLA this year. So I believe that's how he did it. So I want to say it was a 4% increase instead of a.
Which they, a lot of the salaries, they do need to work on.
They went up 4%.
So, well, I think what happened was he was trying to redo the compensation chart, but hasn't had enough time to complete it before town meeting. So instead of a 2, he was going with a 4% on the COLA, and then he's gonna finalize the compensation chart in the fall to get that finalized so that it's more reflective. But, I had different numbers in there originally, and then actually it was the day that you went up there and I was talking about change. He gave me the new numbers that I was supposed to use for these rates, which changed it a fair amount. So,
Okay.
what is
So that was still, and that's still
Additional.
budgeting for an additional
3 people?
3 people.
So that was the split person, the sewer operator under Peter, and the water operator under Steve.
Yep, and then just the laborer.
Right, that was the split.
Okay. So health insurance, that doesn't.
Health insurance, I have
That's-
no control
Yeah,
over.
that is what it is.
Now that,
So health insurance, I put 25. We haven't used that much because we haven't had the staff. I didn't budget for like all 3 of those people taking family plans or, so this varies dramatically and I'm not technically allowed to know who's got what for insurance. So I get that number from
From
Gene,
Gene,
but
right.
we had to factor in
Right.
something, assuming
Mm-hmm.
somebody's gonna take some.
So
Yes.
Gene is the one that gave you that number for 25?
Well, Gene gave me the current number, but then we have to factor in a factor of, I think I did 1 family and 2 single or something like that, just to try to,
Yeah.
it's a guess, I mean,
You don't know what.
so until we have employees and know who's taking what, I won't know.
Retirement, that's a set figure.
Yep, retirement, I have no
Life
control
is a
over.
set figure.
Yeah.
What's the health insurance HSA?
That's, when they switched to a high deductible plan, part of that plan and the option that they went with, they give each employee a portion of the deductible, so that the employees aren't coming out with out of pocket as much. So, again, I have no control over
Yeah,
that.
that's those numbers are all.
Control of the first one, control of the opt-out.
So electricity,
So electricity, I went up 10,000 just based on, let's see where we stand now. So on the electricity, we had budgeted 60,000 last year, and we are like almost dead on exact percentage-wise this year, to being almost exact on the 60,000, but I'm anticipating additional increases with the oil prices and everything else, so. So I wanted to err on the side of caution, and I added 10,000 in there.
that's a given. You know that's going up.
Yep.
Heating went up.
Heating, same thing, I'm assuming, between the Ukraine-Russia thing and between the oil, embargoes with Russia, I assume it will go up a little, because we're pretty much on track with that too.
Yep, so 2,000 on that
Repair and maintenance, that's everything down here, whatever we.
Yeah, this first one this is for the wastewater plant. So I had that at 125, and I cut it back because I pulled the projects out of it.
So I'm just looking at 21, I'm just trying to follow, I don't know what was added in 22 in that budget portion. In 21, we're on, wrong one, sorry. It was in the water. Need sewer, right? You were on sewer on that one? We're on sewer, yeah.
Sewer.
We didn't even have it in there. Public Works.
I took those lines out of mine.
Huh?
So I took those lines out of my copy of that. Do we have that? No, I took some of that already too.
Oh, wait a minute. Wrong one. Just looking to see. Should we have that?
The professional technical council, how come that went down so much?
Because you can't tell, but I have those different colors, because those numbers are gonna change based on what we do here.
Oh,
But that one, I took the 50,000 out that we that's the I&I.
Mhm.
So the I&I study, phase one was supposed to be 150,000, but we broke it down. But then we had to go to town meeting to get additional money to cover the difference. And then the same thing happened again this year. So until I do this next part, I couldn't move forward with the next part until we make sure we have enough money to sign the contract to go forward. So
Okay.
we didn't get to do that over the summer and fall, so we have to do it spring through summer. So I don't have the line item for the I&I because we didn't have the funds to do it earlier in the year when we're supposed to, so we have to wait. So I won't have the results for this until it's too late to do it next year, so. So when we finish this part, we'll come up with an estimate and get a proposal to do phase two.
Phase two.
So in that repair and maintenance, what's the number that you have for
Yeah,
projects?
I gotta look at that and come up with,
Yeah,
because
I'm looking to see.
I was doing it based off the base and we had 75,000 last year.
Yeah,
We're fairly close to on track with that, but that's just under the standard stuff.
Mhm.
So that was repairs. All right, so that's what threw me off because I didn't see the big ticket items, which would have been the filters. So the filters would have been one of the bigger items on that. And they weren't included in this, so that's why I had put that note next to it. 80K was the base. And then we need to add in whatever we're gonna do for projects over here that are outside of normal operating. So I think that actually needs to come down a little for the base part because we had the garage heater included in this.
Yeah, I don't
Which
wanna
was
be
like
counting
7,500.
twice in two different, in the same, if there's already stuff in that repair and maintenance, but I don't wanna be counting for it again
Right.
in your list that you have.
That's what I was saying. I didn't have the extra projects in that number,
Mhm.
which was a 75 originally, and I went to 80 just because everything's more expensive right now. But when I went through it, it was see, that one wasn't planned. That was just regular maintenance that ended up. But the EDS, the heater for the garage, that was 7,500. That was an outside project, so that would bring that down a little. So we'd probably go down around 70 for the base instead of 80.
So I'm looking in, I don't have 22, so you have to excuse me for doing that, but the original on the sewer in 21, it was $76,000 and 41,000 of that was built in for 2 actuators, system collects 10,000 for Gilmore pump rebuild. 10K each collection system repair was 10,000. Gilmore pump rebuild 11,000. So there was 41,000 put into
Okay,
into
so
that.
So I had this
So
at like
we-
125 or something. That's why I probably messed up and reduced it from that, but I must have already added projects in when I had at one of the times I was working on the budget. So that probably goes down. But 20 we didn't have. Did we have projects in 20 that we had outside because that was at 84,000?
So base, I guess the number in 21, I had 35,000 for a base,
Right.
for a base repair and maintenance. And then we added the additional 41. And then
Yeah.
So in 2022, I'm not sure where that base landed and where the additional
Right. So
projects landed.
I don't have. What were the additionals that you said? Oh, that was 21. Never mind.
Yeah, and 21.
So I gotta look at 22s.
But I don't know if those were completed, so
23.
if we gotta carry those over again to 2023. That's why, there was 2 actuators,
That was done.
okay, collection system repair, 10K.
Well, we'll get to the collection system, so we're not gonna carry anything over on the
On
collection
that,
system.
okay.
It's
And then
It's just
the
additional.
pump rebuild, that was done.
pump rebuild was done.
Okay, so we don't need that, we'll write those all off as either completed or addressed.
Yep.
So that'll give us a base at 35, but I'm not sure what the base was on the out of 22's budget, 75, so there's a difference of, it's a 35 to 75, there's a difference on that. That's
35 to 75
Yeah,
is
that's
40.
that's a difference.
Oh, yeah.
So there had to be something in there that was being accounted
In the 80? Or which one are you talking about?
in the
In the 20?
in this. Well, either one, because the base should have been right at, it should have been down at 35. So in the 75,000, there must have been something
Well, there's
additional.
just a lot more repairs that are needing to be done because the plant's getting older and things are failing, which is why we gotta address a whole bunch more items in repairs and maintenance. So,
Okay, so then the 80,000. So it's now
yeah, like I said, that would probably go down to say 40 as opposed to 80 for the base.
Okay.
'Cause like I said, I took out numbers because it was at 125, so I took out 45 to go back down to base, but I had that incorrect because I'd already added the 40.
So that should be down to 40.
40 for
We're gonna
base.
put the base at 40.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rentals and leases, that's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, so rubbish removal went up a little because they went up on their price.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if we'll continue to get it at the price we're paying because they went up and Jean keeps paying the old price for some reason and they haven't. I don't understand why, but she pays the old price and they've accepted it so far. But
I know the feeling.
yeah, exactly.
A little humor there.
Yeah. So-
Inside humor.
I was gonna say inside joke. So the 1,000, actually you skipped over it. The rentals and leases.
Yeah.
I had 1,000 in there. I put that as optional.
I would keep that based
I'll
on.
say because we rented like one of
Yeah.
the brush hogs.
Yeah.
You know, we rented the air compressor. That was the main reason it was in there the year before. Was we rented it for doing the well field at primary, but we did the well field last year, so I know that expense isn't going to be there. Let's see.
Yeah. Plus with all the projects coming down the line, you want to make sure we got a lot.
That's what I was saying. I know we have a we have a few. Like I said, I just put it as optional because I know where we're looking for a bottom line. So
Yeah.
if there's something we're going to cut, it's probably going to be something like that as opposed to things that we need more. You know, this is kind of a we should keep it in there in case we need it.
Oh, yeah.
Some of the other items are we have to pay these. So. So rubbish removal, professional consulting. Like I said, that went back down to a more typical number as opposed to having the 50,000 I&I included.
Professional, technical. Yeah.
That was where we had I&I stuff in it.
Yeah. That was always around 15,000, and then we added the other stuff, 50,000 in. So what's that base number going to be around?
This is yeah, so that can come down a little more. We were typically spending between 15 and 20.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I had in here, 15. That was 21, so,
Yeah, and 20 we spent 17. We didn't have
Okay.
anything outside of that, so
okay.
probably drop that to 20 instead of 30.
Dropping the
Well, that's just for the base.
Yeah. Just for budget.
professional technical, we can drop that down to 20
Yeah.
instead of 30.
Okay, we got,
615. Legal 0. For the engineering architecture, so I've got 30 in there. That would be a carryover. For the pilot study. So I have it, and I have it already kind of scheduled and earmarked, but, well, not scheduled, but earmarked, and they just haven't given me a date that they can come in. But this one I'm probably gonna look at and say, if they can't get in here before July, which I highly doubt they're gonna get in here before July right now, this is where I'm probably gonna move this money over to cover the additional money for the I&I that we didn't have, so I don't go to town meeting to get an article to cover the difference.
okay.
Cause that was at 87.6 instead of 50, which is what we budgeted.
So filter rehab was done?
So filter rehab was done, but when we did the rehab, that was rehabbing the filters themselves.
Yep.
But when we took the filter down, because that's always full and it's always operational, we took one down and some of the pipes were rotted and we have to recoat the inside.
Oh, that's that one with the, is that whole issue with the?
Yeah. So
I know we talked about that, I think we talked.
so when I got prices for that,
Mm-hmm.
it's about $60,000 on each one.
60.
Yeah, because they gotta blast the material down, so you gotta get all the coating off, blast it to bare metal. Then they've gotta weld in the pipes on the angle, so they gotta weld new pipes through, and then they gotta coat it with some special coating that they use for wastewater, underwater, under submersion all the time. So I got 3 different prices, and they're all right around that, like 50 to 60,000 for one.
Is that in your list of over here?
Yeah, that's in this list.
Okay. So the 30,000. I had in 21 a base was $5,000
On which one?
on engineering in
Right. So the engineering, that's what I was saying. I've got 30.
okay, so
And the
that's
30 is just covering the pilot study. That's not, I have nothing in there but the pilot study, and that was carrying it over.
pilot study. Where did I see that?
Yeah, I think I originally had it at 25.
There was, I think that's in a different. That was in the. Where did I see the pilot study? Wasn't there something on? That was in the water. Wasn't there a pilot study done on the water?
No.
Where did I see that? Oh no, here we are. Pilot study, it was in here somewhere, I see. It was in there, right in there, yep, 25.
Yeah.
Pilot study aluminum phosphorus, and that was, FY 22.
Right. That's what I said. I have a contract with them.
Filter rehab is in 21. Okay, so that one,
The filter rehab was done.
yep,
The pilot study is earmarked to be done.
okay,
We have a contract with them, but I don't think they're gonna do it within this fiscal year.
yep,
So instead of going to town meeting to transfer money and then encumber this over to the next one, I'd rather just take this money, use it towards the I&I that we underfunded last year,
okay,
and then just move this item over to this year.
okay. So 30,000, and that's for the additional, was that, What was the cost of that gonna be for I&I?
87.6 or 87.5
I mean, for the engineering portion of it? We have,
for the I&I.
yeah,
Yeah, it's 87,000.
I'm just looking, we had 20, in this one here, it said 25,000.
For I&I? No. No, that's
Pilot
for the
study?
pilot study.
Yeah, pilot study.
Yeah, so it was 25 plus the base 5.
Okay, so that includes, so the pilot study is included in this 30,000 you have?
Yes.
Okay. So 5 includes. $25 for pilot. Okay, so the base on that is 5. Okay, so the pilot study, is that in your list over on this side?
Yes.
Okay.
I have it as 30 because I had taken that number over.
Okay.
But it's 25 plus the 5 in the base.
Okay, so that
So
project's
this
accounted
would be
for
here.
in the budget.
Yes.
Okay, so that's already accounted for in here.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's put that, make a note on that. It's included. Okay.
So you can't tell, but that's a lighter color. I got that one colored just to show. I don't have a color printer, so you don't see it when you print
Yeah, I do see it lighted up. Okay, so then we get, what's next?
it. So everything else is pretty
Yeah, that's general, straightforward.
standard, straight down. Licenses and subscriptions went up. I went up by 1,000. We were over budget.
Mhm.
And we're gonna have additional employees. We're probably gonna have more licenses and subscriptions.
1,500, it's all general. Okay, that's all pretty straightforward. I know on the printing and mailing,
Yep.
he went up to 25. What was are you anticipating
And then where are we?
from 1,000 to 2,500 on the printing and mailing?
Yeah, I'm trying to find that one. Oh, there we are. Yep, so this billing, we use the service to print and mail the bills,
Mm-hmm.
which was outside of our normal printing and mailing. That usually covers the CCR. So Lee wasn't here, and we
Yeah.
obviously don't have enough staff, so
Yeah.
we subbed that out. We just need to make a determination if we want to continue to do it that way. I don't know if, when you guys got your bill, if you like that format better than the old format. But
I just look at the number and check that.
but it's the advantage to using the printing service.
Yeah.
You know, it costs, I don't know, probably $500 or $600 a billing,
Mm-hmm.
but that covers the paper, the envelopes, the stuffing, and all that. So we have to pay for the special paper to print the bills on. So if we use the outside service, that kind of eliminates that cost from us, and they get a better postage rate because they do bulk mailing, where we don't. So we're paying the 55 cents a stamp, and they're probably paying 30 cents a stamp, 33 or whatever it was.
So the difference, you'd have to just do the math. That's the problem. If you pull out the difference in postage, pull out the stationery. Then
Right,
give you,
so-
if it's, how much did it cost to do it?
I don't have the exact number, but it was somewhere 500 or less.
Okay. And, I have I think I have it with me, but what the breakdown was on the billing. I did bring that with me. It's one of these folders. I can bring that up.
Oh, the one where we were going quarterly?
Yeah. I remember Lee had given me a breakdown of what the actual billing costs. And if we're gonna do,
We're gonna go quarterly.
yeah. which I still think we should pursue. I know it's not recepted well up in town yet, but that's just initial. But we're the only town. I checked every town around here. You cannot find. I wouldn't say you can't find, but most. I would say 99% of the ones I looked up were quarterly. Every town around here is all quarterly. Something was a little funky. I couldn't.
Something's weird.
Mantrog was, the sewer was semi-annual, but then some of the water was weekly, monthly, and then some was quarterly. So it was kind of. But most communities are all quarterly.
But I can tell you, all the other communities have at least minimum radio read, if not fixed base.
Yeah, we should definitely have a radio read to do that.
That makes a little bit of a difference.
Well, I think
Unless you want to increase one of these line items quite a bit, we're still a few years away from being all radio.
Yeah, the radio read, but I don't think that's going to affect the billing because we're still only going to read twice a year, as we discussed in that previously. But I mean, that's a discussion for another meeting, I think. But it wasn't going to change anything on the reading. It was still twice a year. It was an estimated every other.
Yeah, we're gonna have a couple estimated, yeah.
So, but I still think we should still pursue the quarterly billing and get up to today's times on that. And just for the simple reason, and I know the argument behind it, which I can understand but not necessarily agree with. So do you want to leave that in there then, on the 20?
I mean, I think we should, just to cover the basis. Like I said, I'm not sure who's going to be doing the billing. I can tell you, I certainly don't have time to sit and fold.
Yeah, I know.
1,200 bills, fold and stuff envelopes.
So each
like I said, I think
it's
kind of a wash.
Each billing cycle was, say, 500. So that's the additional. So you have 1,500. You have additional 1,500 in here.
Oh yeah, I do 15. That's just in case we have to do a notice.
Okay. Which, given the
like
fact,
I said,
I would
I'm throwing the number off the top of my head. I'd have to double check to see what it costs to do the printing. We haven't actually got billed for it yet, so I'm going off of what they quoted.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to that. I think, plus the fact we should have a little extra in that, all the construction going on, and then if any disturbances or whatever it may be, that if we have to do any notifications or anything, probably not a bad idea.
So, internet we left alone.
So we need to do we need to decrease postage if we're accounting for?
Well, the postage was one of those touchy ones before.
Well, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not.
So I'm leaving that alone.
I'm not opposed to it, but I don't know if you took in consideration if we're using a different service and includes postage.
Yeah, let me check too. A lot of this I went based on percentage of the year we're at, percentage of money we spend. So we only have $493 left in postage.
Out of the 1,500.
Yeah.
So that would be. We've already done all the billings and everything's done complete, right?
We'll still have to do demands, shut-off notices, and then we also have postage every month that I send mail reports, emails reports, and mine I want to say is 7 something a month. He sends 3 different ones. They're probably all $7 or $8 a piece.
Yeah, I'm not gonna pick that. The 1,500, I guess I just wanted. We'd have to know what the savings was on the.
Right.
Having the other company do that. So why don't we just leave it?
I think some of the savings on that is additional hours some employees work during billing to stuff envelopes and,
Okay,
but I can't reduce salaries based on that.
no.
No.
All right, so leave that alone and then just see how that plays out. with
I'll
the-
just leave it.
Yeah, I think it'd probably be the best idea, if you guys agree.
Licenses and subscriptions, what are those for?
It's like Mass Waterworks,
What?
Mass Waterworks, the NUIA,
Your licenses and,
yeah. And some of those, if you don't subscribe to them, they charge you more for the class. And if you go to one class, it
Oh, yeah.
covers the cost
I have
of
the same
it. So
thing,
it's
yeah.
like, yeah, you might as well just be a member. But that number went up based on if we potentially have 3 more employees that are gonna be taking classes or getting
Right.
licenses, they're gonna need subscriptions and licenses as well, so.
So you anticipate an increase, I see in the telephone now. That's another $700. Oh, okay, cause we had 22,
Say,
yeah, 2212, I see we did, okay, never mind, we're good. Okay,
which one are you on?
we're on other services now. After license and subscription.
yeah, I got 130 per base.
Services, do we have that in here?
I don't have anything there, that's, the other services is the Synagro, in Phoenix, like the lab work. So Synagro is roughly 10,000 a month right now. So 12 months is 120 grand, that only leaves us 10 for sampling. So that's one that we run pretty much on target.
Services, why don't we have that in here? Oh,
Because you're looking at,
yeah,
there's no outside thing on that, that's just a
yeah,
standard
yeah,
every year bill.
Yeah, so I'm just looking to see where we were.
Yeah.
That was at 115, so I mean, 2 more, yep. What's the actual on that? Actual was 111 and 20.
And that was in 20, and the
Was
waste
it one?
hauling went up in
Yeah.
price.
All the trucks and everything else, yeah, that's good. Okay, so that's self-explanatory in that one. 30. Office supplies, level funded on that. Okay.
It's the building repair and equipment. Went up 10 grand on that.
Yeah, so I went up on that based on the fact that we're already $6,600 over the $15,000 budget of last year.
Uh-huh.
Building repair, that's what I have on that.
So again, this is, the plant's getting older, things are wearing out. I know we need to repair, replace some pressure transducers. They're probably close to $1,000 a piece.
Mm-hmm.
Where we have,
Custodial supplies, you want
okay, so
300.
I don't
that's-
think we have anything there.
so what do we have? I'm gonna go back up to building equipment was 25. Where we at? So we're at a base of 10. Then 7,500 for office building repair. That was in 21.
Yeah, we haven't done the office building repair, but
Okay.
like you said, that was 21.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
So
don't think we had anything in there for,
the base, I guess I'm going back to is general repair maintenance. We had 10. So
I think that was in 21.
I don't know what was 22 was, where were we?
We were 15 and 22, we were 17.5 and 21.
Right.
We spent
Base.
12.2 or 12.3 and 20. We've already spent 21,000 this year, and we're not done with this year.
Okay.
So we're over by 6,000 already. And like I said, I know we need
Was
pressure
that-
transducers.
Okay.
That's they're roughly $1,000 a piece. So
Building in repairs, is that in here anywhere?
no,
Okay, so that's just a,
yeah,
that's
that's
a
just
reoccurring,
standard. I don't have
standard
any. Yeah,
lighting.
yeah, I don't have anything listed.
But that's just a reoccurring expense we need to budget yearly for that. Okay.
And that number's probably gonna continue to slowly rise.
Yeah, everything gets, the cost is going up.
I just mean, outside of the inflation, I mean, the plant's getting old, things are wearing out, you know, VFDs.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so. Custodial 900.
Vehicle supplies, that's just like standard maintenance and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, windshield wipers, or
Yeah.
if we needed, you know, whatever for the truck.
Standard.
I think we also include, like, if we get tools for the truck, for, you know, things that we keep in the truck, like gate valves or gate wrenches, or
Mm-hmm. Medical supplies.
yeah.
We had
that-
500 in there. We took it out in 22. Taking it out again.
Yeah, we took it out in 22, and then I actually got the first aid kits in 22, so we're negative. So we're negative on that account this year, but we bought the kits, so I don't anticipate
Okay.
putting them in there, because
Alright.
the three of us actually have our own stuff that we use.
Okay. Nothing else that we would need to.
I can't see anything that we would need to buy on there. Like I said, we've got full kits that,
Okay.
I know that was one that Keith used to push all the time. That he
Safety
wanted us to
director.
get, yeah.
Never get hurt.
He wanted us to buy the kits, so I finally bought them, because
Yeah.
the company that we get our uniforms came in and gave us a sales pitch on them, so.
Public Works stayed the same.
Public Works. Let's see. So that was 15. Yep, that stayed the same. Other supplies. 12,000 stayed the same. Uniforms. That went down. So the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So everything's pretty much the same. You go down, I dropped insurance premium 1,000, but that's the number I get from the town hall, so
Yep.
I typically don't like to drop those, because they tell me one number, then we
Yeah.
get billed higher, and then I get it heated in the rest of the budget, but I went with the number they gave me, so.
Yep. These COVID-19.
What you gotta include it in capital now?
Capital.
Well, we always had a line item of,
20,000, right?
no, I think we had additional in those.
We had
I think we had a base of
20.
10, but I don't remember why I went to 15 now.
I had a base of 20, and then we added it was $3,500, so it was 23,500 for the modem and SCADA. It was 3,500.
Yeah, we removed that.
Okay, so a base of 20.
Yeah, so I'm not exactly sure why I went to 15 instead of base of 10. I'm
Okay.
not sure how I came up with that. I might have been in the wrong. I might have been in sewer instead of, or water instead of sewer. But let me double check. Okay, water and capital.
Base,
I'm gonna-
comfortable leaving it to 15.
Well, I think I dropped it to 15 just because we have so much capital things, and it's a matter of we gotta decide. And I know she's got different qualifications. I look at most of the stuff as capital, but
Okay.
That's why I always make a side note.
yeah,
When I do that,
because
so I know what
where
was-
we thought it was supposed to go.
Yeah.
So in the capital list item, there's 117,000 on this other sheet. So I dropped to 15, figuring I'm trying to capture more things outside.
Mhm. Yeah, I don't understand and I have to get an explanation from Jean on that, but I know in the warrant, I mean in the annual
Oh,
town.
the capital outlay thing?
Yeah, she had,
Yeah.
in the warrant article for the town meeting, it was 33,000 for capital.
Oh, you know what it was? That was the portable generator. Was it just 33 or was it 30?
33, so it's 33 even.
Yeah, so 33 was the portable generator. But when I went out to bid to get them,
Mm-hmm.
they came in astronomical. Which, if you can see because I put replacement. I put the comment under replacement, but I put need portable genset.
Oh yeah, right there, you know what, that would be bad.
16.5.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I put 16.5 on
In
each
each
half
side,
because it was a portable. Because originally when I first looked at it probably 2 years before, and we finally decided to go ahead and put it on there because I think we carried it a few years.
Mm-hmm.
We finally put it on there. Well, when I went to get the pricing, they came back and they were all over 50,000. It was like one of them was 90 something thousand, one was 70 something thousand. So I got to dial that in a little better.
Mm-hmm.
Over here, I put it at half on water, half on sewer. It was 40,000 a piece. Like I said, so that number's big. That's something I'm probably going to say let's hold off on just because of the craziness with generators right now.
Yeah, but it's not a necessity at this point.
I mean, it is, but there's other things that are higher priority necessity than that. Because I mean, right now we don't have any way to run booster if we go down. So
In the current climate, but that should be addressed, hopefully.
that's what I mean. I'm hoping that this. I mean, like I said, we've ordered 2 generators.
Yeah.
I ordered them
Yeah,
a year ago,
yeah,
and we still haven't got them. We're still waiting on them. They tried to hit us with a price hike. I haven't really answered them on that. I kind of said we have a contract, but
yeah.
they said that they sent me the letter from their supplier that said, oh, we're raising the price by this. If you don't want to pay it, you can cancel the order. And I'm like, I'm not canceling the order, and I got a contract with you, so figure it out. But
Yeah.
I finished the conversation with them, but they didn't push back after I said, well, we have a contract. So we'll see if they push back any more before we get them.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, like I said, it's supposed to be 12-week delivery. It's going to be over 12 to 18 months by the time we finally get it. I don't want to go through that with the portable generator, so I want to wait till all the craziness settles down and then try to go back out again.
Okay.
And then also for a portable, I'm thinking there's probably some other avenues we might try to go to get a portable, whether it be a grant or through the risk and resiliency stuff through the state or FEMA. There's a couple options I just want to try to explore before we spend money if we don't have to.
Okay, so gonna keep 15 for the base on capital then?
Yeah.
You have base as 10, but I think.
Yeah, no, that's what I
think
said.
we
I don't
should
know how
probably-
I think I meant I dropped it 10 because I think we had it at 25. Was it at 25
Was that-
last year?
It was at 20,
Well, 20 was. Oh yeah, that was 22.
yeah.
Okay.
And it was 23.5, and then we,
Right.
the skater and the modem was 35.
Yeah.
And,
So I'll keep it at 15 right now. But again,
okay,
that may drop depending on what we do over here. I mean, we always carried a line item for the additional equipment or capital just to, in case we
Yeah.
had a capital item,
Yep.
something that we
yeah,
needed. That
that's
was in
like,
that
I have no
range.
problem. We actually are dropping to 5,000 because we always carried 20.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
comfortable with dropping that 5, or you wanna leave it at 20?
Well, let's leave it at the 15 until we get to the end of this, and
All right.
because I think we're gonna be looking for cuts somewhere.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure. Like I said, I'd be more comfortable leaving that and then coming up with a decision over here.
Mm-hmm. And then the additional equipment is 16.5, so that's where you're getting it for the portable.
Well, that was 20. That was 2022.
Oh, you're carrying that. You could carry 0 then.
So I put
just
0
that
for
in.
that because I have it
Discuss
over here,
Yep.
and like I said, it's more like 80,000 instead of
Yeah.
33,000.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna do a little more investigating. I think I'm actually gonna borrow one from someone I know to test the size wise, to see if it'll run what we want to run. Engineers give you a number on a size, and
Yeah.
I think they add safety factors in, but the generator companies already add safety factors in, so their math
Yeah.
makes it so that, like you ended up with here, we ended up with a 400 kW, and I can't get to 100 running everything, so.
I wonder how they come up with those numbers.
Yeah,
You know how they come up with that number? They make 10%.
yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah,
the
on the
10%
engineer.
cost,
10% of 100,000, 10% of 500,000.
I mean,
Yeah.
some of it was years ago. The good practice was, I think it was like 185%. So whatever you needed, you had to go 185%.
Over and above?
Yeah,
Oh, that's-
because they tried to factor in start loads. So your startup loads are a lot faster, or they spike your amp. So if everything starts at the same time, yeah, you might spike up to 400, but everything has VFDs here, and we have time delays on everything, so that they're all offset, so they don't. Everything doesn't start at the same time. So there's no need to have that, and we have soft starts, so it's not a across the line start, so you don't hit those high amps. So it's not necessary to way oversize it here, and like the booster station, I have VFDs. I mean, we can ramp those up nice and slow if we want.
I was gonna say, everything has slow starts on them now.
Everything except for the only station we don't have them at is Glen, and Glen has a generator there that's designed to run the whole plant anyway. But that's the only place left that we have that doesn't have a soft start or a VFD is Glen. So Turbine has it, which is where we would need a portable. Booster has them. That's the other spot we would use the portable. The other spot that the generator was designed for was Gilboa Street. So I want the portable just to kind of, any of the pump stations. I mean, we have a Generac piece of junk up at Colonial. We've had issues a few times with that where it wouldn't run when we needed it to, so we had to have someone come in and pump the system down instead of relying on the generator. So I wanted to get the stations, like all the pump stations, set up with plugs in addition to any generators that we have. Like Davis, well, Davis is a big pump, so that was a little more difficult to prepare for. All right, so retirement is given to me.
Retirement.
So I don't get to pick that number. That comes from them.
Those are all
That was
set.
18.
All the debts are set. Yeah. So overall on sewer, what did you have on your list that we dropped?
On sewer, what do we drop?
Yeah, just the sewer. Like in your notes, what did you say we were gonna drop? Like I had the base on repairs and maintenance I had wrong, so
Well, we dropped two
Oh,
items
okay.
at 60,000.
So,
I just wanna make sure I got what. So we dropped 40,000 on the base
so we have 40. Yep,
repair and
base.
maintenance.
Yep.
So we're at 40,000.
I come up with 60,000 and all.
40, 50, and then was the pilot study that includes 25, so the base and that would probably put it back at 5 then, right?
Right.
So that would be 25.
Yeah, I think I left it in here just because I was carrying it as opposed to a new project line.
So the base would be 5, so it would be minus 25. So 40, 50, 60, 75. Base 30.
So what did you have for professional and technical? Was it 10 for a base?
Professional technical. Where were we on that? Where's 20?
That's we had 20K for a base.
Yep.
So that's minus 10.
Hmm? Yeah, so we get 40, 50, 60, 75. So it'll be 75 is the number I think that you're looking for in that. But then you decreased from, I had 20 as a base and you reduced that to 15.
I already had 15 there.
Yeah, but I'm going,
Yeah.
if you want to go the other side.
I'm just saying what I've got to adjust in here. I'm just trying to figure out
Okay.
what our bottom line's going to end up being before we get into
What
this.
did you
stuff.
come up with?
75,000.
75.
Yep. 40 for the base on
Yeah, 40 and 20. What did you come up with the other?
40, 20, and then 25 on the minus the 25 for the pilot study. So we put the base back at 5, not 30.
Oh, okay.
But the pilot study is in this other on his other sheet.
Yeah. So I think my numbers aren't working what you just said then. We dropped 40 on the repairs and maintenance.
Yep.
We dropped 20
We
on
dropped,
the professional.
no, we
consultant.
dropped 10 because
Okay.
the base is 20.
That's what I was looking at. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So that's
Oh, yeah, I dropped
that's where
that
I'm off.
10?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
And then dropped 25 on the for the pilot on contractual.
Engineering and
Oh yeah. It's
engineering
Yep.
and architecture.
Yep. So 75,000.
Okay.
Retirement pension, sewer debt. 102, that's not going to change that. So what does that put that at for
The total sewer department.
expenses? Yeah, that would be,
Well,
you add to, so 489, 9 minus 75, right?
Total is 861 minus 75, right?
yeah, that gives you 786,284. But
What was
he's
it?
I'm
he's
going-
trying
I'm
to do a
going-
line above.
yeah.
He's doing just the expense, so it
Yeah.
drops.
Now, what's that 102, 269 that
That's-
you were taking
that's
off?
debt.
Sewer debt.
That's debt, so we already have that money accounted for, so we don't need to raise and appropriate. So he wanted to know that number so that we see what our revenues are to support the budget. So I don't need to account for revenues to cover that because we already have that money.
So that's not gonna come off the 861.
No,
Okay.
it does when you're trying to determine the base budget against what we're making for revenue.
All right, yeah, okay.
it's just one total on that, right? Yeah, 5,000.
Yeah. Just Gene's form does each separate heading, it does what's in there and then the total.
So, where am I missing?
What are you trying to figure out?
4, 5. Oh, missing revenue, that's why I'm missing.
Salaries, yeah.
Yeah, looking, coming through. I'm like, wow, I'm way off.
Way off.
What's that, 245?
245615.
So what do you have for a number?
786284.
I got 767, 784. Let's see when we start over.
What'd you come up with?
245, 615. Is that 50? 615. Plus 414. 900, right? 660 plus 102. 269. Plus 5,000. $767, $784.
$767.
$784. That's what I'm coming up with. So you coming up, Bob?
I did come up with that, and I just ran through this. What am I missing? Oh, you missed pension. Did you get the 18?
Yes. Oh, that's where it is. Didn't have it. Oh, pension, yep. So plus the,
Yeah, I screwed you up a little this year because I'm running behind trying to get all this completed. So as I went through line items and did them, I bolded them. Normally I don't bold them, I only bold the totals.
mm-hmm.
So you can easily see it, but you can't easily see it now because I bolded everything, so I knew I was done with that line item.
786, 284.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Hello? Good, how you doing? Okay. Yep. No, a video will be fine. Yep. Yeah, video's fine. Alright, thanks.
Yep, checked out.
Ah, so you cracked your housing, huh? Yeah, probably not. Alright. Alright. Is my guy over there? Okay. Yeah, if you want to see if you can try your pump, I'm guessing you're not going to be able to make it, but yeah, it probably won't with a cracked housing. All right.
Put that one out.
Yeah. All right, sounds good. All right, thanks, bye.
So we all got the same number, 786, 284.
Yeah, Josie did because he just went by what me and you said.
786, what? 284?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I had 784. Okay.
786 284.
Okay.
That's sewer.
Yeah. Tell you, these progressive glasses I got, they're awful. I think I can see better with cheetahs on when I'm doing this stuff. With the cheetahs, I'm like, this is, I mean, I do this and I look up and then I look down, everything's blurry again. And it's trying to figure out the to get that spot where it's,
Oh, yeah.
Find a sweet spot.
oh, yeah, it's awful. I think I'm gonna try getting a different pair. Cause I really, I'm straining with my eyes, and that's what the bigger print. I know something's not right with the glasses. Alright, so where we at on,
Alright, so salaries are there, what they
salaries?
give me,
240, so that's an increase of.
37,145. Health insurance number they gave me, same with the retirees, same with the FICA,
Yeah.
HSA, health insurance. So we're at electricity.
So that's in, this is included, half labor,
Half a laborer, another full-time employee,
and one full. That's on the water, so, okay. Just trying to figure out whether the difference on what we currently, the salary, and then what they, that half and that full is accounting for.
mm-hmm.
Cause it seems like a big jump, that's why I'm just trying to get,
Well,
make sure we get the rate.
4% as opposed to the 1.5 to 2% that we
Mhm.
normally do.
Yeah,
Plus there was a step.
plus the,
Um,
okay. Yeah, you can tell me 4%, right, that's right. Yeah, and they should be adjusted accordingly anyway.
mm-hmm. Which I think is still coming,
Yeah.
so I'm not sure.
Health insurance, we can do nothing about that. That's all, everything's,
So I did not raise the electric on this one,
okay,
but we probably should, because with the 35, we're like dead on, based on time of year,
yeah,
percentage of year.
and 20, it almost was 32,000 in 20,
Mhm.
so. You know, that's not going down.
No,
Electricity want to increase, you said?
I think we should.
We're pretty much at,
We're
Budget.
right, almost exactly on track with where we're supposed to be at this time of year.
and you know they're gonna go up with the fuel with the fuel and everything going down the line. Yeah, we probably should bump that up.
You think 5 or 1,000?
What about what's your intuition on that?
We're right on target now.
Yeah, pretty much dead on. If we had 5,000, that's just under 5% or 20%. So 42 would be a 20% increase. I don't know what you think the increase would be. Yeah, so just under 15% would bring you to 40.
I think we should probably get to 40. Increase 5 on that.
Go to 40 and you get the fall town meeting if things go really crazy.
Yeah.
Plus at that time we'll have all the retained earnings certified.
Heating, you went up 3,000.
Heating I went up, yeah.
Has there been a difference from the oil to the propane? Have you noticed anything?
I don't have the numbers because this is the first heating season, and
Oh yeah, but the propane.
half of this heating season she hasn't been in to update the chart on where we are, so.
I just paid $5 for oil and $2.98 for gas. Gas went up, not that bad though. Gas went from like $2.45 to $2.98. I mean, it's still quite a bit, but
It's definitely a smaller percentage than the oil.
The oil.
So I think we got in just in time putting the propane instead of the oil, because we'd be dying right now.
What's that contract price with that? Do you remember?
I don't remember off the top of my head.
Do we get the same, does the town have any propane
We're-
anymore? Or no?
The town has propane, but I think they go out to bid for it.
Do we piggyback on this?
But Osterman owns all of our tanks,
Oh,
almost
okay.
all of our tanks, so
Yeah,
we don't own them, so we have to go with Osterman unless we want to change all the tanks out.
yeah.
you know, we have a contract with
And I
them.
think we had a pretty good rate with Osterman. I don't
Okay.
recall off the top of my head what it was per gallon right now, but
Okay. So up 3 on that. To 7, from 4 to 7, okay.
You dropped almost in half on the maintenance.
well, that was I pulled the stuff out.
Mm-hmm.
I pulled stuff
Repairs and
out.
maintenance.
Oh,
So we had
basis.
the well rehab, I think, on there for
oh,
40.
so you got it on the other thing.
Yeah, so I pulled the 40 out that we had for the well rehab.
Mm-hmm.
Repair and maintenance, what do they have? Yeah, I had 25 for a base.
Yeah, that's what I went back to because I pulled out that
The-
40 for the well rehab that we had in there. And I was carrying that over again to cover the difference between the engineering costs that we incurred here to get all these upgrades done.
Building repairs and primary fence repairs. I had 20,000. What was, so the 45,000 was in the previous.
Yeah, so we had 45 before.
Yeah, and that was 20 of that was budgeted for building repairs and primary fence repairs. So the base on that was 25.
Yeah, so I dropped it back to the 25.
So 35 on this one.
That was the professional technically on
You dropped it back to what?
I dropped it to 25, which was our base,
Yeah.
our original base.
Well, yeah,
Calculation.
35 here, but you dropped it to 25.
So I want to drop that.
No, so yeah, you're looking at the wrong one. Which one are you on?
Repair and maintenance.
Yeah, 2021 was 77,000.
Oh, you don't have 2022. So
Yeah. So you had 77,000. 22. 45 and this is 21.
yeah, so I pulled 42 out.
So I don't have 22. What was the project?
Right. So I had the well rehab in there.
Oh, yeah.
So we were supposed to rehab the. I want to say it was Glen Street, or I might have had Turbin in there.
I got the other sheet on that.
So that's when I have a contract, but I haven't signed it because I was waiting to see how much we were over on the engineering.
Yeah, that's this one. I don't know. I had. I think I'm missing.
No,
the
water's
other-
down lower. So if you look where
I'm just looking at the one.
the 604.
Oh, 604. Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
604. That's what I was looking at. The number we got there. 6045.
repairs and maintenance right here.
Repairs and maintenance.
So primary pump, turbine well rehab was 40,000.
Yep.
So that's what I pulled out. We didn't do the primary building repairs because the guy that we got the quote from, when I called him to come do the work, he moved to Florida. So I've got to rebid it with everybody again.
Okay.
Fence repairs, we did some fence repairs, but now we have more fence repairs.
Okay.
Because that was before the tree fell on the roof, which went across the
Chimney.
fence and the chimney, so actually I didn't account for that. I gotta get the chimney fixed too. But just today when I drove down here, when the pipe was coming in, another tree came down across our fence down here.
Oh, did it?
So I got more fence repairs to do now.
It was windy as hell last night.
Yeah.
So, where are we on, for this base number on,
So there's the new fence repairs we have to do now.
oh man,
So,
where's that, down here?
yeah, go straight down. So it took out this fence, and these branches took out this side, so there's no top rails left.
Well, it's crushed.
Yeah, this crushed it right to the ground,
Yeah.
man.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I pulled in, I was
Insurance
standing there
don't
talking
come out. That's
to
not
Peter.
covered by insurance.
It's not worth putting in a claim in
I
for
was gonna
that.
say, it's not worth it,
No.
it's not enough money. And I'm not sure if Matt switched, I know Matt was talking about going with $50,000 deductible.
Ooh.
So, if we have a 50,000, it's
Yeah, definitely not.
not worth it at all. I mean, you're not even gonna get to it, so.
Alright, so what do you wanna,
So I pulled out,
pull out the 40, you were saying, right?
yeah, I pulled out 40, which was the well rehab, cause I put it here, but we gotta carry it over.
Mm-hmm.
Because I had to use the engineering money to cover all the engineering projects that we have here.
Mm-hmm.
So between that and the pilot study, I pulled those forward to do this year because I needed the 25, actually I needed a little more. It was I needed 37.5 to cover the difference between the I&I study and what the contract was and what we budgeted.
Mm-hmm.
So between those two, that was 65 that I pulled out. So 37.5 is going towards the I&I study, and the rest is going towards the overage in the engineering. The engineering that we didn't budget for, but the projects came up so quick that we didn't have time to budget for them.
So how is that gonna leave us on this 35? You have it down here at 35. What do we need to be at that?
Right, so that's like the base.
Okay, so it was up,
So I pulled it out to get us back to the base, and then we'll discuss over here
we had,
what needs to get added back.
we had 21, we had 25 for a base in 21. So unless it was changed, you guys changed it to 22 to 30.
Called off on
you had
arrival
10.
about 14 minutes ago. The operator is out of the vehicle, no entrapment, but he is a little bit confused according to the reporting party.
So I think it's just, again, I looked at repairs and maintenance, everything is going up.
Mm-hmm.
So I budgeted a little more for the base, and then
Okay.
pulled out the projects to make a decision over here.
Okay. So basically, okay. So hold that at 35.
Circus fire alarm to any available EMS personnel. Respond to 60 Glen Street for motor vehicle accident. Circus fire alarm to any available EMS personnel. 60 Glen, motor vehicle accident.
We got 2,000. Let's see.
Trying to get back. Repair and maintenance, you're keeping it there at 35.
Yeah.
Yeah, as a base.
As a base.
Yep.
Oh,
So, it
so,
was 25.
so what I went up for was the mission. Because we have the mission communication systems, that's what we monitor all those for.
okay.
So we have annual maintenance contracts on all those. I want to say they're like 700 a piece, and there's 7 or 8 of them now. So, and I got to buy one more. That was when I was telling you to get the booster station to automatic. I need to buy one more to make it automatic. The Church Street tank and booster station.
Okay. So then we have 4,050. What was that for? Maintenance contracts.
Let me see what I got on there.
So wouldn't that, what you just told me, wouldn't that have been in the other one?
Oh, okay. So that's where it should be, but it's been put in the wrong category. And that's why, because she doesn't have that category here.
Maintenance contracts?
Yeah.
We did have it, I did have it in 20,
Yeah, no, but in Gene's accounting,
yeah.
we don't have that number.
Maintenance contracts?
So I'm looking at the wrong.
Should be the 200, well, that's
Yeah,
52,905,
right, so I circled it because we haven't charged anything to it.
okay.
So we have that, it was accounted for over here, so that's kind of double accounted for there.
Mhm.
But I didn't go back and look at my circles.
So we should
So this needs to get reclassed over to there.
reclass maintenance contracts to repair and maintenance.
So I gotta reclass the mission part to put it back in that, to put it in that category as opposed to this. So it should be in the maintenance contracts,
So,
so the 4,050 is right,
okay, then, so we should reduce the base on repair and maintenance
right,
to 30,000.
30.
Okay. Okay. We got professional and technical. Okay,
Professional and technical, they pulled 40 out to get us back to a base of 25.
Okay. What do we have for, okay. Got a base of 15. And then 75,000 for a vulnerability study.
Yeah, that was before, so
Yeah.
that's out.
That was
That
where
was
that's where the 90 would, if you look on that,
Yeah,
that's where the 90 came from.
right.
So, I mean, I'm not opposed to that, 'cause I think there's a lot of stuff that I want to make sure we're covering for any professional technical coming down the line. For, given all the new projects and things that we need them for something.
Yeah, I'm trying to cover those outside of our budget,
Yeah,
so
so should we want to reduce that back to the
that's what I did.
15?
Well, I put it back to 25.
Is that?
So I had to go up on that because we have PFAS testing.
Oh, yeah, that was that, so from the
Yeah.
15, we had that for the PFAS.
Yeah,
that's-
so originally it was like, we estimated 60,000 for, or we estimated 40,000 for PFAS testing.
Mhm.
But we had that, I had it listed out on the side, but that's not something, that's an annual,
Yeah,
we have to do that all the time, but I had it separate just to show what the difference was, because it
Okay.
was a new regulation that came out.
yep,
But then luckily our results came back good, so we're much more reduced, so the additional will cover it. I don't need the whole amount that we originally estimated. Because if we had hit over 10, then it would have cost closer to the 60,000.
yep. Advertising. 15. Contractual services. 15. training. Telephone, same. Oh, big jump in postage.
I don't know why I went up. I think I was on the wrong line item when I did it. So I was going up on the printing and mailing.
So 15, back to that one.
Yeah, go back to 15 on that.
Printing and mailing. 3,500.
That's again with the, if we're doing the billing out,
Mm-hmm. It's a $2,000 increase on that though.
yeah, what do I go up on the other one?
That was the same as we had on the sewer.
1,000, I think. Printing and mailing. Yeah, you went up 1,500.
So I went 1,500 there, and I went up how much there?
2,000.
So I think I was supposed to go the 3,000 where the postage was, so I punched the number for that one in. So it was probably, because I was in and out doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So the 3,000 should have been where the 3,500 is. Because that would have been the increase of 1,500.
Okay,
So I wrote over that line. So that should go to 15 and that should go to 3. That's because I had two 15s in a row. So I saw the 15 and went to the next one.
that should be 3.
Yeah, the 35 should be 3 and the 3 should be 15.
35, this is $3,000.
Yeah.
Cell phones, that's pretty straightforward.
And the $3,000 should go back to 1,500.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Services. License subscriptions. Billing and equipment repairs. Let's see, billing equipment, yeah, I had 20, I had 20 for a base, you have 10.
Was it 20 for a base?
Yeah,
'Cause I think I pulled out what I thought.
I think you know what it was, or maybe that's confused with, on the, what was the other one, maintenance, or repair and maintenance. You went up 5 on that. I have a base in here as, glasses. I have a base in here as 20. Previous year I had it at the base at 30. Then we dropped it down to 20. And you dropped it to 10.
I'm not sure why I dropped it to 10. What'd you have it for last year?
I had a 20.
Because I have it as 10 here for some reason.
Oh, last year was 10, yes. And then the previous year, 21 was
Right.
20.
It was 20.
So you dropped it to 10.
I dropped it to
10 last
10
year.
and then I just carried
Carried
over
over
to 10.
10.
So I just want to see what we're at. Yeah, I think the 10's good for me.
Okay. That's good.
So the gasoline that went up just because the prices are
Yeah.
insane now.
Yeah.
I think we're already over budget, and we're not finished this year.
Where are we at now?
2142
21.
For what?
for gas.
We got another April, May,
3 months.
June.
It's another
3
quarter
months,
basically.
Quarter, yeah, so you wanna be at least 4 for that, yeah.
So that's how I based it out. So things that are pretty steady, when I went through these, what I did was, we're at 74.3% of the year or something like that,
Mhm.
based on this report. So I did the math out
See what the
to
percentage
carry it out what the percentage would be, just to check if it was on target or not,
Mm-hmm,
and then to see what was extra if I made some adjustments.
okay. Public Works Surprise.
So I went up on that one, factoring in for more radios.
Yeah, it's gonna be for radios. Read.
Yeah, so, well, a couple things was, with the developments going on, so I gotta buy more meters and radios just for those.
Oh, I see that.
When we do those, on the new stuff, I mean, it generates revenue, because we bill for those anyway,
Mhm.
so. With that going up, it buys the radios and meters, but like I said, that would increase the revenue also,
Mm-hmm.
because that's gonna pay for those, but.
So 40,
So
45.
just if we need parts to do connections or whatever, so
What-
we've got to buy those parts, then we bill for them, so we need that money to
Yeah.
cover projects like that.
What did we expend so far this year on that?
What was that? 5.3.
Yeah, I like those reports when I get those from Gene, the detailed report.
Yeah, so we're right on target for being budgeted just right at the 45, but that's not factoring in any additional radios or meters.
Okay. Okay, we'll leave that alone then. Other supplies. What do we have in there? Was that 10, then we went to 24. Oh, we went to 24 because we expended the previous year, 23.
Yeah, we are over every year.
Yeah. And then you dropped it to 20.
And I'm on track for being over this year as well.
So I should probably go up,
So I'm over by like 8% already.
so we should bump that up to 20, back to 24.
Yeah.
I actually go 25, because if we were expended 23, we're at 24 and 20, so I'm sure, just add a little percentage increase on that.
Yeah.
25.
Now to increase the other expenses.
Yep,
Other supplies go to 25
Supplies,
instead of
other. You're gonna increase that to what?
25.
uniforms. That's good. Take travel, 13. So we have a big jump in dues and membership.
Yeah, that's if we have additional employees.
What we expend in 20 was 2,600.
Let me check where we are.
That's for additional training and stuff.
Yeah, so I'm on track to be over budget on that. We've already spent over 2,200.
Okay. Do you think you need the full 5?
Well, we're adding as many employees as we have now on, that have memberships. So we're on track to go over already.
Over 25, okay. Then we're gonna be adding, if you had 1.5,
Well, if I add 3 employees,
yeah.
licenses, we have 3 employees with the memberships now.
Mm-hmm.
So if I added 3 with the memberships as well, it would double the membership fees. So that's how I came up with that
Okay.
number, was based on how many employees we need to hire and the employees with the memberships now and the dues, so.
Okay. Put that one on there. Insurance premiums,
That comes from the town.
yeah. Well, that went up, huh?
Which one?
Insurance premiums? Well, it went up from 7 to 11, then 11 holding even.
Yeah, I think that was the difference when they added the mobile property.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay, yeah. Those buildings insured,
Yeah, we insure the one that's
we keep supplies
on
in.
the office side, cause we have so
That's
much
that other one down at the
tools and
bottom.
equipment in there, yeah.
Yeah, the brick
I
one.
don't think we did anything on
Yeah.
the brick building.
Maybe a good storm will,
Fire department to practice on.
capital.
Yeah, they went way up on that.
Okay. what do
No,
we-
capital I didn't, oh yeah,
So our base on that was 11. Then we went to 25. We went to 25 for the, 14,000 was for the cemetery street pipe, which that actually came in at 21,000 for the pipe, so we gobbled up the rest of that, I think, on that. So base would have been. So how do we arrive at the?
yeah, that's what I'm looking at, cause that's actually where we have the meters and radios, so I gotta see what jumped up on the public works supplies.
From,
I forgot.
it was at 11, then it went to 25 last year.
Yeah, and we were at 40 last year, it was 25 at,
Well, I'm sorry.
21.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
You're right.
21 was
Correct.
45, 25, and we went to
Right.
40.
And out of that 25 though was to account for 14,000 of that was to account for the pipe, so
right.
which put it back down to 11,000 as a base. So it was 11,000 for a base, accounting for the pipe, and then I'm not sure what in the current budget at the 40, what was included in that.
Yeah, so we're at 22.9, and that is just meters and radios. So capital, Gene makes us, anything that's part of the meter replacement program, any pipe, any fittings that are for the system, those she makes us account for all that in capital. So not public works supplies.
Not in public works supplies?
Correct.
Okay. So what do you,
So the chemicals are in the public works supply, and that's what the price went up on chemicals.
okay, so we're at a base on that of 40, what was expended?
And which one?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Yes. Which one were you just talking about? Pardon, sorry.
For what? For the meters and radios?
That
That's
was-
capital.
That's in the
That's
capital,
capital.
yeah.
So is that, you comfortable with that number?
Yes.
40?
Yeah.
So that's like, that's about 30,000
So we
additional.
because we weren't buying radios before.
Okay.
But now we're doing radios for any new construction, and then when we do meter changes. And, you know, as we discussed before, we're trying to come up with a plan for like, do this whole street,
Yeah.
and do this street, so.
Okay. Yeah, and there may be different things in the works coming down the line there. So, okay. Additional equipment.
So the additional equipment I've got, need the portable generator next to it as a note. Like I said, I think, you know, we do need it.
Yeah.
I just think it's a bad time.
Yeah.
Placement equipment. 4,000. We had a base of 4,000, but then
What was this on?
replacement equipment. And we had budgeted 4,000 as a base, and then 33 of that.
Yeah, we didn't budget anything for it last year.
Yeah.
I didn't budget anything for it this year.
Do you want to just a little line item? If you don't budget for it, is it gonna fall out of the system?
No, it stays in the system. She actually has some line items in here that I take out just because I don't need budget zeros. I just know the line items.
So what we need to add 5 to that. We had to minus 5 out of that. So that goes
We had
with
to
that.
add 5, yeah,
So
so
that takes care
those
of that.
canceled.
Yeah. And then we
minus 2 between the
two.
printing and the postage, minus 2.
And we're up 5 on that. So $3,000 increase. Right?
What are you accounting for?
And we had to add on that, so we had to add 5,000 on that. So let's see, so that cancels that.
So 37.
That cancels that. Then we got to 2,000 there. And then actually minus that. So minus 2. We're up 5, so it should be at 3,000. Increase of 3,000, right? Is that what you're coming up with?
For the expenses?
We
Yeah.
added 3,000.
No, I'm coming up with minus 37.
How you
How do
doing
you
that?
figure that?
No, we did, yeah, because we, never mind. I had the
We went
40
from
here, so
35
I pulled
before
I had minus 40,
5,
so
yeah.
So that cancels that out. That cancels that out. So we minus 2,000, but then we added 5 on the supplies.
So plus 5, plus 3.
3, yep. So 318, 400.
Yep. The retirement stays, OPEB stays.
So you got a minus what?
You're gonna add 3,000 to the bottom, the 315.4.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. Because we added 5, but we minus 5, and then we minus 3 and added 5.
Yes.
So you have 1,441,000. Okay, there was 1,007,000.
No.
So retirement pension. So I always get confused on these, Bob. What's the?
So retirement, there's just 2 line items. It does what it is and then it totals it. But we only have 1, so it's the same number twice. So you only factor one of those
So
18.5s.
the county retirement.
And same
Five,
thing with
okay.
the OPEB.
Okay, all right.
So it's 5 for
Yep.
line item and then 5 for the total, so.
Okay. So,
I know those 1 line items I should just take it out, but the total. This is just the way Jane's sheet works, so.
That should be, $570. So total water should be what, 576, 828?
No, we added 3,000.
Did I go back? Oh yeah, I went up on the right. Sorry about that. Yep. 82. 582. 828.
Mm-hmm.
For a total of, what'd you have for a total of that?
So the grand total I had, you mean grand total or?
Yeah, because I have the
1341843.
1341843.
Say that again?
1341843.
That's what I double check.
Okay.
Okay, so we have, okay, so 1.3. What did I miss?
What'd you come up with?
We do a 1369 with 12.
Because we subtracted 75 on the sewer, but we added 3 on the water. So theoretically, I'll do the math, but it should be 72,000 less than
Right.
what's there. Oh, now I got your number.
582, 828
Oh, never mind. I subtracted out the
plus
debt.
82.
Because I was looking for the number for. That's not right either. 1, 3, 6, 9.
So I got $1,369,112.
And then you would subtract out. So you'd subtract out the debt.
Mhm.
So it brings you to 1,266,843.
Minus debt. What's it come up with?
1,266,843.
Say that again?
1,266,843.
843. Okay.
842?
843.
Yep.
3.
Okay, so then what do we have for?
And that's when you took out the debt.
So revenue was
I'll
pretty
say this.
close to that.
I'll say the revenue
was
Very close.
1.2. Paper all over the place, yeah. Pulled that out based on that one. 1.212. That's pretty close. It's within 50 grand.
Right. Then we're gonna have,
And you got the interest, the
right,
demand, all the other fees that go along with it.
and it's typically between 6,000 and 7,000 a piece for the demand.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another 14,000.
Yeah.
Interest on those, a few shut-offs, and then we'll have several connections.
Yeah, additional usage coming and all that.
So additional usage, but we'll also be getting the revenue from the meters.
Yep.
So that will offset some of it too, so.
Yeah, so I'm happy with
It's right on target.
Yeah, that's good. I'm comfortable with that. Are you comfortable with that, Bob?
Yep.
Good. Okay. I'm good with those
So now the
numbers.
hard part.
Yeah, now we're gonna get into the. But some of this stuff though, we have to, if we go through, we just have to get the numbers from Gene on what we have in those accounts. The retained earnings, do you have a breakout of all her? So if we can apply
Yeah.
whatever we need to
Right.
transfer from for that specific,
Yeah, so I gotta,
you know what I mean?
I do know what you mean. And she typically avoids giving me that sheet. I know I've got it somewhere. I've just got too many piles of budget stuff right now.
Gotta make sure we transfer from the right bucket.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I know we have quite a bit in system development. Too many piles of projects right now. Got it.
Or is it in the... Actually, is it in this report that you have here?
No.
Is it in this?
No. She avoids giving me this, but it's funny because, like, when I have it, she's like, "Can't see it."
Okay. So that takes
She thinks if I show you guys this, you're gonna think that we have the full amount.
No, don't worry about that.
But that's what I said. I'm like, well, Colin's like you. He has no problem saying, no, we can't spend that.
Yeah.
So. All right, so let's go through these and we'll determine what's what. And then
See what we have for available.
figure out what we have to
Mhm.
cover. All right, so obviously I showed you the reason for the fence repair yet again.
Yeah. So you know that's a given, we gotta do that. Okay, so that's gonna be in 23.
So we gotta do that.
Yep.
We'll go through the whole list and we'll say we got it and then we'll go through again and figure out which ones we got that we can't, so. Alright, so the fire panel, fire alarm panel here, there's an issue with one of the stations, so it kinda shuts down the whole thing because there's a loop issue. We'd attempted to fix that problem years ago and it didn't get fixed correctly. They put a new panel in, it still didn't fix it. They wanted me to pull out the panel that they just put in that we already paid for and then go with a radio panel as opposed to figuring out what the wiring issue is. So I don't know what the wiring issue is, but I know we've spent a significant amount of money on it previously, but we do need to get that repaired so it's back up and working correctly.
Mm-hmm.
So I threw a number out there. I mean, the fire panels could go up as much as 100,000. We got to start somewhere. So I threw 25,000 in there. I don't have any quotes for anything yet. I reached out to another company, but now that company is no longer doing systems in Mass. They were out of Connecticut. They were doing systems in Mass, and now they're not. I don't know if it was one of the people that was working for him was certified in Mass, and then he doesn't work for him anymore, or what. But
Mhm.
when I called him, he's like, "Yeah, we're not certified to do Massachusetts." So, but the original guy I talked to was. So.
The original quote was 25.
No, like I said, I threw 25 in there. I mean, I gotta have somebody come out and evaluate, and last time when we had them coming out, every time they came out it was 7,000 something just to come out, and they didn't actually fix what needed to be fixed, so I figured the cost to have them come out and then hopefully get it repaired this time as opposed to trying things that didn't work, so. And that's why I was trying to go with a different company, but now they don't do it in Massachusetts, so. So we'll come back to that.
Say what, yeah, give us the, what are the ones that you, cause the other one that handles it all the time, what are you thinking that we really shouldn't wait on?
Okay, so the filter rehab, we have to get at least one of those done.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, it's about 60,000 a piece. So, we have one of the we rehabbed the 2 filter membranes.
Mm-hmm.
So we have the 5 micron on one. The other filter was the one that we were originally going to change the filters out to begin with. When we took that one down to do it, we realized that some of the pipes had rotted out underneath, so we got to get that repaired. So I'm down to 1 filter right now because that one we can't put back online until we rehab it. So I need to rehab that one in order to put the filters back in that one, and we'll have the 10 micron on that filter, the 5 micron on the other filter, so that we can do the pilot study.
Okay.
So to do the pilot study, I need both filters running so we can see which chemical with which membrane works best, and then we can finalize what we need to do and which route we need to go, whether the 5s or the 10s.
So that one, we don't really have any choice on, we've gotta
No,
have.
so that I have to get done.
Okay.
That's gonna be 23.
So the SBR, I brought this up for the last couple of years. It's about 70 grand each on the control panel upgrades. The problem is
70 each.
all the controls that we have are outdated. I do have a proposal if you want to see it. It's 69 something, but
Yeah, look at the cost of this stuff.
yeah. So I don't know if I had it in there. I don't think we actually had it on the list to do. It was ones that we discussed.
SBR
Because we had so much stuff in there to begin with, we didn't move forward on those. So it's about 70 grand. So the SBR panels, we have the primary drive and then a backup drive. So it's 70,000 a piece.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to run on one while we're upgrading the other. So we'll be running on that and upgrading this one. So instead of spending 140 at once and trying to do them all, we can do one, and when we do one, that will give us some spare parts towards the old one, and then we could get by for another year or whatever until we lose some parts. So there's 2 parts to this. That's the SBR panel upgrade. That's the main brains that run the whole system.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the filter control upgrade. So the 2 filters also have the electronics, and those need to be upgraded. So this was the last one out of the filter that crapped out. So we pulled it out of the filter that we have down right now that needs to be rehabbed and put that in the other one to keep it running, because this one died out of the one that we are running.
So we definitely have that in.
But that's, so right now to buy this, because it's antiquated
Mm-hmm.
and you can't get them anymore, it's about 20 grand for that.
Huh?
Yeah, that one thing is 20 grand. And we probably have 15 of these down here.
Jesus.
So this is just one piece, and there's multiple other cards that are all somewhere around 10 grand a piece. So it's going to be 30 grand to upgrade the whole thing, or we're paying 20 grand for just
each, yeah.
one little component
Yeah.
out of all of it. So I need to get one of them upgraded, but that still leaves me where the second filter is working off of our only
Mm-hmm.
panel. So if I upgrade one of them, I can get by off of that filter, get through the, get the unit itself rehabbed, and then get the electrical rehabbed, get through the pilot test, figure out which unit we need to go with, and then we can make a determination on rehabbing the other one and the other electrical after the fact.
So the filter rehab metal fab, which is 60,000 each, that has to get done too,
Right.
like you just said. And then that ties in with
With the 30. So essentially you've got 90
That
just to get one filter done and upgraded.
Okay, so that has to get done.
Right.
And then the SBR control panel upgrade. How would that sequence with that?
It's completely separate.
Okay.
So that's the 30,000 runs the filter unit itself,
Mm-hmm.
which is completely separate from what controls the whole treatment plant.
Okay.
So the treatment plant is a separate issue, but same issue because these are the same exact cards that are in that. But that one there's a lot more of the other cards.
Mm-hmm.
So there's analog inputs, analog outputs, digital inputs, digital outputs, and you've got a couple dozen of each. So each one of those cards are between $8,000 and $12,000 on top of the main CPU part of this,
Mhm.
which is 20 or more now. So we have to get the SBR panel upgraded as well, but more critical to me right now is the filter, because that we're down to the one filter and the filters don't have a backup. So like when one filter goes
Yeah,
down,
right.
you get the other filter to operate off of, but the SBR panel, if the operating system goes down, we have a backup operating system to run the treatment plant, but it's like a control panel for a filter and a control panel for a filter, whereas the SBR is two control panels to run one SBR, which is the treatment plant. So,
Okay. So,
so we need to get the SBR control panel upgraded. That's a definite. It's just I think I can get by to 24 the SBR upgrade where I can't
with the other two, yeah. Okay, so we'll go 24. Sewer lining.
So sewer lining on Gilboa. So one of the things, because everything was so compressed and we rushed through to get these projects that we're working on
Mhm.
to the point that we need to make happen what needs to happen.
Mhm.
The one thing we forgot out of all this, so in the project we're replacing the water mains, everything will be new ductile. We're replacing the sewer force mains, but we didn't address the sewer gravity. So the sewer gravity, we're replacing all the water mains, it's gonna be new ductile, we shouldn't have to dig it up again. It'll be all new service connections off the road. The force main, so we should be done with that portion of it. But now we've got the gravity sewer, so we're gonna do a full overlay and pave the whole road.
Mhm.
We did include manhole frames and covers, but we didn't include anything on the sewer. So we didn't finish the evaluation on the sewer end yet. So I don't know if we need to do that. I just don't want to find out that we need to dig something up and repair it
Yeah,
or have an issue after we pave.
but you got it marked down as sewer lining, and that line, that gravity line could be,
So we can line it.
Line it.
So lining it
When are they expecting to pave? When will we know that?
next year.
Okay. I'm just trying to think of timing wise.
So it could be next spring or summer. So
yeah, if they're gonna let that set for a year, I hope.
yeah, you want to let the trench set through a winter. So it'll be a trench patch for a year, and then they'll come back and pave next year. So all the work's being done this year to put everything in. Next year we would pave.
So we have to. So you're looking at it for this current cycle of construction season.
That's the up in the air part. I don't want to get to the point where we're paving and not
Mm.
have this accounted for.
Yeah.
So these two numbers, these are ballparks off of some that I was involved with before that I knew the pricing. So this is ballpark pricing.
Mhm.
I'd have to kind of.
Well, that's something that can be done later. I mean, if it can
It could
lined.
be, but I'm just saying, if they go to line it, or if they send everything down to go prep to line it and say, oh well, there's this problem, we can't line it, you have to dig this up and fix this, but we can line all this. I'm
Is
just
there-
telling you that we've got
Yeah.
old sewer mains. I mean,
Right.
these two roads are probably some of the oldest sewer
Mm-hmm.
in town. So
So is there a way that they can camera the system?
we can have them come in and
Evaluate
clean in camera, but that would turn into, and unfortunately we're behind a year on the I&I stuff. So we'll be doing that this summer. And that's why I kind of said, all right, we're gonna kind of hopefully capture some of that through that study. So I didn't put in here that we need to do jetting and cammering to determine if we need to line it or replace it. I just think not lining it after we do everything else on these roads.
Right, I agree. I know what you're saying. I like it. I agree with
So
that.
I just put it in here to have the conversation and put a marker. And my intent, I think, is going to be to see if we can add this to the project overall. I think the approach that we took by pre-ordering the pipe is going to be advantageous to us in the bidding process. And I think just with the market the way it is, we might get favorable pricing. And if we can come in under budget, I'm going to see if I can figure out a way to slide this into the project so that we're completing everything instead of running the risk of having to dig something up after we've already fixed everything. So this one I'm up in the air on. I don't have the proposal yet. It's just something that I think we need to either account for or at least have some kind of plan in place. Like you said, I mean, we can line this after. I just don't want to go to line and then find out that we have an issue and then screw up our
That
timing
may
on
not be
paving.
How
or
do
anything.
I line it?
Yeah.
They just-
It's a neat process. So it's like a sock. They got a machine, it goes down and it has a sock and it sends this liner in. There's two different types. You can pressure or they do like a steam. So they send a steam line down and it hardens, it cures it in place.
Okay.
And then they got a little machine that goes down and cuts out all the
So what do you do with all
the laterals.
lines?
So it's got a machine that goes in there and just and it cuts them all out as it goes down.
Amazing what they can do.
Yeah. So the machine they send down and it takes all the measurements so it knows right where all the laterals and everything are, and then when you line it and then it sends the machine back in, it knows right where to go and cut. So it's a pretty neat process.
Is this something we could address at fall town meeting if necessary?
That's what I'm thinking. So, but I was throwing it in here just trying to.
Get a discussion.
Like I said, it was late in the game when I'm like, crap, we didn't account for that in this whole project.
Yeah.
So, if we can come in under budget, I'm hoping I can potentially
Change
try
that.
to take care of some of this and say, hey, you know, we did the sewer main, we did this, because we are doing 4 sewer mains, so maybe we can look at it as part of the sewer part, and we didn't add that part. I'm not sure. I'm gonna see if I
Yeah,
can.
yeah, I know what you're saying.
I'm gonna see if I can find a way to work it in there, because I think we should address it. You know, if once we get through the rest of the I&I stuff, we'll have a better idea on where we really need to focus, because I think we're gonna have a lot more of this that we need to do. But it's probably more beneficial to not do small sections like this. It's probably better to look at it and kind of do a whole thing and say, all right, we got 14 miles of sewer main, and we need like 3 or 4 miles line. So let's do 3 or 4 all at once and go for one project, because when they bring all their equipment and everything out here, you know, I mean, I did this at roughly $61 a foot, but if you were doing a couple miles of pipe, you can probably get it down to, you know, $30 a foot. So,
Yeah, it's half though. Yeah.
so if you can
Substantial savings.
exactly. So if we can just do, once we do the II, once we finish the II, we'll have an idea of all the areas that we need to fix, and we just come in and give us a price to do all these areas. This, I know we don't have money, and we're not going to go pull a loan right now to try to jump ahead of, you know, skip the first part. So, but this, I kind of think all the work we're doing in those roads and trying to get to the point that we're getting, I don't want to have to dig it up after.
So my thought would be, and
Fall.
I'm thinking out loud,
Yeah.
if we can address it if needed, see how everything plays out during this construction period,
Yep.
and then if we need to address it at fall town meeting, then we'll have to address it then.
Yep.
Okay.
Like I said, I'm still going to try to see if I can work this into the
Mm-hmm.
entire project.
Alright, what's the Headworks explosion-proof heater?
So,
Those they were gonna try to address.
yeah, so we have a heater in there. Unfortunately, it's explosion proof, so it's quite a bit more money than a normal heater.
What's in there, electric or, no, what's in there, oil?
No, it's not oil.
That's
It's-
propane?
No, I think it's electric. It's electric for the heater in there. You can't have an open flame. It's
Oh, yeah,
it's an explosion
right.
hazard
Yeah,
room.
it was an explosion heater. Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously we're through this heating season.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I think I'd probably recommend putting that off till 24th,
Okay.
just knowing what we've got on this list.
Mhm.
And like I said, we're out of heating season, so. The grip box for Headworks, we got a quote on it. It was 8,900 or something crazy like that. Ours crapped out. We junked it. We made one out of an old toolbox, so, but that's not going to last too long. We can probably get through this year with it. So again, it's something that we definitely need to do. But like I said,
Could that be something if we see how we're getting towards the end of the budget season for this current year?
right. And that's what I was gonna say. So
A lot of some of these, I call them smaller 9,000, not small.
right,
not
that,
small.
that's something where we're in June. I can say, yeah, we're looking like this. Let's get that. So.
Alright, so that total is 461.
Well, that's 461, but that's not including the 160 because we got to do 3 of those items twice. So yeah, total would be 461. But again, we're going to hold off on the fall town meeting, so that's 250 right there.
So basically, we're looking.
So we're looking at 200 minus the 9 minus the 10. So essentially, I need 90 plus 7 plus the 25 if we're going to do the fire panel. So that one we kind of skipped over a little bit to determine where we are.
Mm-hmm. So you're looking like 90, like a 90. What do you get? 97.
97.
Yeah,
97.
that's not including the fire panel.
Right.
Okay. So that's the
So let's.
that's the
So those 3 items we have to do.
Yeah, I mean the fence is the fence. I mean that's.
So this, if we transfer, so that's probably going to be, I'm guessing, would be a transfer from retained earnings for this stuff. 'Cause I don't think it would be in any of the other.
Depends on if you think it's system development. I mean, we're
Well, yeah,
if you look at it, we're
yeah.
upgrading to new
Yeah.
technology because it's
Yeah.
obsolete. So theoretically, I could justify that as system development,
Okay.
developing the sewer system up to
Okay.
new.
So that
So
was
that's a potential system development.
system development.
All right, collection system. I didn't put any money in there this year.
So we're going on that phase right there, we're gonna go for 97,000.
Right now, yeah.
Yeah. Just for discussion purposes.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. We got a long way to go here to.
Yeah.
I mean, I know where we're gonna end up with some of these, but so. Yeah, let's just go down the list and then we can come back to what we've
Okay.
decided on each one. Collection system, I didn't do anything on that, just basically because of the timing. Without having the second part of phase 1 complete, we don't know what's gonna be there. Second part of phase 1 is gonna go through this summer, so
24.
if we need to make some kind of determination, we could do something in the fall. So I would say 24 is more likely. More likely when we're gonna have to make address something there.
Right, because they wouldn't do anything once you get to that point. Then it's going to get too late in the year. So then we'd have.
Well, unfortunately, a lot of the I&I stuff, depending on what you're doing, you need to do in spring.
Mm-hmm.
So if I don't budget for it now, which is what stiffed us on these two, we didn't have enough to cover the contract.
Yeah.
So I had to wait for,
But we don't know what. We don't have all the other information.
exactly. So I don't have enough, and that's why I just said, I gotta skip it for this, and If need be, we'll come up to something, if I need to come up with something in fall town meeting, I will.
Okay.
If not, that'll move on, and depending on, so, some of the issue with the I&I, I'll explain is, if we can determine how much infiltration inflow we're getting, you know, it has an effect on our capacity down here. So depending on all these developments going in, if it turns out they need a lot of capacity to come into the treatment plant, one of the things is we might have to get the I&I addressed in order to get them on the system. So that may be a conversation we have depending on what's coming in and if they have, what their needs are for sewer. So if I can't take them because our capacity is being taken up by stormwater, if we can come up with something where if, you know, if they need 40,000 gallons a day for wastewater, if we can identify through our program that what we're doing, that we've identified we're getting about 40,000 gallons a day during a storm event in this section, if we could work it out that they take care of that section to offset what they would be adding to it. So do you understand what I'm saying there? So, like I said, that'd be a fall thing, and then also, when we get through this evaluation, we'll determine where what's coming from and what needs to be done, and depending on our capacity.
Okay.
So the pilot study, like I said, that was, I pulled the wrong number because I was going by what was on the line item, so it's 25 there. So that should be 25, not 30.
25. Okay. That one,
That's a carryover from the last one because I need to use those funds towards,
we pulled that out already.
We
right?
did,
Okay.
yeah.
They pull it out, yeah.
so we pulled it out of there, so we needed to account
Account
for
for
it
it,
here, and
yeah.
that needs to be done this fiscal,
Okay,
so that would be 23.
that's gonna be 23.
Alright, so capital items on the wastewater side, so if we're getting 3 more employees, and, you know, the old 350 is sketchy, you know, as we said when we replaced that, that's getting replaced, so it's not like that was the new vehicle. That one got replaced, so we're still short vehicles. We just need to determine what avenue you wanna go, whether we go with some smaller vehicle. And just so you know, the 250 is 11 years old now. And the crossbars on the bed are rotting out where the frame is. So, I mean, the truck still looks good, the truck still runs good. Like I said, you know, we put stuff in there, I was like, wait a minute, we look under and all where the cross rails are was rotten out. All, you see the whole bed go like this.
That truck's 11 years old, huh?
I know.
So what do we have of current vehicles? We got,
So we've got the new 350 we just bought.
that's a it's 21.
21,
21,
350 utility.
250. Then we have,
An 11 F-250.
and that's a regular,
Regular pickup truck.
regular,
Yeah.
yeah,
There's no utility body, nothing.
No,
okay.
The 3500, that has the utility body, right?
the 350.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then we have,
And then we have the old 350 that this replaced.
what year is that?
08.
That's the one that,
Dave always drove.
yeah. So wait, F-350.
So yeah, that one's got about 450,000 miles of idle on it.
Yeah. Is that one still being used at all?
Yes, I still use it because when I got to go do something and both trucks are gone, that's what I take.
Okay. And then what else we have?
But we'll get to the point that you're spending more money on it
Yeah,
than
you gotta get,
So that's all we have for vehicles.
Yeah, so yeah.
Yeah, I remember the first one we bought from my old Boston for $900. That's a year old.
Imagine that.
Year-old pickup truck.
Yeah, so we're definitely gonna need a. The Jeep's done. That's dead, right?
That's-
That's
yeah.
gone. So that's.
Yeah, there's no resuscitating that idea.
Yeah.
So we really do have to replace
We
one.
drove that
At
into the
least
ground.
one truck.
So it depends on how you look at it. So I don't know that we need all pickup trucks here. You know what I mean? If there's something where we need to send Lee to the town hall, or I'm running to the town hall, or I'm just, not doing work, it's, if I just gotta run to a station and get numbers, or check something, or go reset an alarm.
That's what I was processing
so-
this, trying to come up with a way that would
Or you
cover.
still wanna buy a pickup truck just to.
Well, I don't know.
How many pickup trucks they're gonna?
I mean, you don't want a car.
Well, think about it. If you're running to the lab,
I'm just thinking a
or,
little commuter.
that's what I'm thinking. Something small. And
It's cheaper than buying a pickup truck
right.
because we don't
Yeah, but how
need
much is one of those small pickup trucks then? I'm talking,
a little Ranger. But the Rangers are up
The
there.
Rangers are big
Yeah.
bucks now. All the trucks are big bucks right
Are
now.
they?
So I'm just thinking if we had something small that, if he runs to the lab, he doesn't have to drive a 350 up to the lab. It's in Hudson. It's a haul. If she needs to run to the post office, or she's running to get signatures in Millbury or whatever, if we had, and I don't know I'll talk to Matt. I don't know if the Green Communities has any opportunities for grants
Yeah.
towards getting like an electric vehicle. I know you guys are all against the electric vehicle.
I am definitely against it, but.
I'm
you
just
know,
thinking of
for
something
like
local,
this,
and we have a charging station at the town hall. I don't know, and it's supposed to be Green Communities, and supposedly like 2030, or I think it's 2030 or 2035. I don't remember.
I can probably.
All the
I'm
municipal
not-
vehicles are
I
supposed to
could
be.
probably see an electric vehicle for this particular case.
That's what I mean. For this, I know they're talking about the electric trucks now and all that stuff, and I don't know if we're at that point, but I'm just throwing out ideas, and I'm just looking at it mostly because if there's opportunities for Green Communities or grants, I mean, I'm sure you guys have seen some of the
Well, they got
politicians where
grants
they're
to put
like,
in the charging stations, didn't they?
do what?
There's one at the town hall.
There's two at the
Yeah.
town hall.
Two?
Actually.
Two?
It might be
Yeah.
4. I think it might be 2 and 2.
Anybody used them yet?
I've seen vehicles up there.
Yeah, I bet you there must be some kind of a grant for if the.
That's what I'm saying. I think there
So
may
basi-
be an opportunity for grant money.
So who are those open to?
Anybody.
I think
guess.
anybody, but I think we charge. Like,
Is there a meter thing on there?
I believe,
Let's say people that.
Yeah, but somebody's been up there charging for free.
I don't know if they're charging for free or not. I don't know.
There's no meters, I heard.
That's my thought. Is what I mean.
I thought the original intent, I mean, we got them through a grant. So, I mean, it's not costing anything to put them in. I mean, we must
Who's
pay the
paying-
electric
Yeah,
bill.
who's
But,
paying the electric bill?
but I'm pretty sure I heard that we could set the rates that we charge for it. So, I don't know if they're just not setting rates or if they are setting. I have no idea.
They probably haven't got to that point yet.
I don't know. If you're hearing rumors, it could just be somebody's like,
Yeah,
oh, look, they're doing it for free.
Yeah.
Somebody just complaining. have no
I just
idea.
heard a rumor that somebody's been plugging in over the weekend.
Maybe they are, and like I said, they might be getting charged. I don't
But I
know.
heard there was no meters, so.
They're probably looking at it and saying, "Well, it's there. I might as well plug in." Well, I'm not gonna.
Then again, I heard nobody knows who the car belongs to, so.
I saw that too, because I seen it there one night,
Yeah,
and it was sitting there, and the plug was laying on the ground, and the thing was open. It wasn't plugged in, and then I came in the next morning. It was one of the days that it snowed, and I came in the next morning, and the car was sitting there and it was plugged in. So it was there all night. It was when I was at one of the meetings up there at night, but. So I'm not sure. I don't know if they're charging. Or
I'm not too
but-
thrilled about electric vehicles, but in this particular case, it's something that can be charged and.
Like I said, I don't think it's going in this year.
Yeah, I'd have to explore that whole.
That's what I mean. I just wanted to get your opinions. Like I said, I know you guys were against the electric vehicles to begin with, but
So I don't know how they are in the wintertime when it gets cold. Remember Mayor Menino saying he got rid of his because he needed to get to work?
yeah,
That was a few years back, but
yeah.
he had one, but then he had to get rid of it because he said it wasn't working in the wintertime. And I don't know how much they've improved or how they are and all that at this point. I have no idea. And I don't know the cost of buying the vehicle, is it still
Well, that's,
through the
you know, I
roof?
understand they're like twice as much money as gas. And it's still gonna take fossil fuel to make electricity to charge it. This what I don't understand. People do not understand
Yeah.
that.
Because it's not in front of them, so
Right. I
Right.
mean,
it's a visual.
electricity's not free,
Yeah, it's a feel-good
you know,
movie.
and solar can only supply just so much. You know, I just,
That's what I said that earlier, when I saw the tree down, I said, I wanna cut all those damn trees down. And then put one of those, like, carport style things with the solar on top.
Yeah,
Do all solar, and then you can put the charging station there.
Yeah.
Then you're really getting it for free. But anyway, that was, like I said, just with the list of stuff we have, I don't think
yeah.
the truck's coming into this or car or
Yeah,
whatever
yeah,
you
but
wanna
then
call
even
it.
that, I
but-
mean, we only got one fairly new truck. The other one's pretty old, 11 years old, and
Yeah, I know,
we do
but
need
It'll
two
still,
work
but
trucks.
it's got a little,
One for water and one for sewer.
right, but the 11, I still think,
the 11's got some life left.
yeah, enough to get, and we still have the utility.
But that's what I was saying is, if we purchase a new truck to replace the 250, the 250 would be the other vehicle for,
Yeah,
you know, the second operator or whatever to be able to use, but, I mean, I still think we're at least 2 vehicles short, but
Yeah,
I think
still-
one doesn't need to be a truck. And then
one,
the 250 can get by for now. The next truck, I think we need to make a determination if we wanna buy like a real work truck, either a crane.
Well, you gotta have
Like
one
a
with
utility
for
with a
water
crane
and
vehicle.
one for sewer. You can't.
Right, but what
combine
I'm
the
thinking
two.
is, you know, we've got all these pump stations that have pumps down in you know,
Yeah.
rail pumps or whatever, like the ones over at Gilboa. I mean, we set it up so we took the crane thing from here, we mounted a base there, but those pumps are too big for it. We actually bent the base, trying to pull it out, cause it's close to 1,000 pounds, and things are rated for 750, but, so whether we look at it and, you know, if we're at that point that we need to get a utility vehicle for the sewer side and put a crane on the back, that would help with picking stuff up and moving things around, and so like I said, that's the 2 vehicle things that I was.
so that one, the 08's gotta be pretty much, that's gotta be completely rotted out by now, right? That's gotta be
Yeah.
framed and everything.
Well, that was Dave leaving bucket the salt
Sand.
back, so
That one's gonna be pretty much,
it is. That's why I don't want to like count that as a vehicle. And I said that when we replaced it. I said, now don't think that this is our other vehicle. This is,
Right. Yeah.
you know, we'll use it. We'll use it until we can't use it, but I wouldn't
along.
rely on it as considering it a vehicle.
so my thought is, we're still gonna, even with that, we got the 11, that's probably a low miles at 11, right?
I think it's like
You gotta
60.
figure a lot of idle miles.
Probably 60,000, but there are a lot of idle miles.
Is it
Yeah.
something?
The hours
That'd
on
be
it
good.
are a lot.
Can
But
we pull the cab off and just do a little welding on the part that's gonna be done? I mean, not the cab,
The bed.
Bed.
well, we had, you know, me and Steve had talked about it a little bit, and it was like, well, maybe we pull that off and either get like the flatbed
Mm-hmm.
type thing. 'Cause, you know, if we're throwing hydrants or something on there, a flatbed would probably be easier.
Yeah, you can buy the bodies for those.
Or yeah, you buy one of those
Yeah.
like aluminum flatbed type
Yeah.
body, or even potentially like one of those mount-in dump beds.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, we got options with that. If we pull the bed off instead of just getting another regular bed, or the other thought was, you know, that truck's still good. If the next vehicle we buy, if we're looking at buying a utility bed, instead of saying buy the utility bed and we'll just take the credit for the bed, I should have did that with this truck, but I didn't realize how much they stiff us on it, because they only give you like $200 credit when they take the bed off and put the
Oh, yeah.
utility bed on. So they charge you 10 grand for a utility bed, and then they give you $200 credit for the
Yeah.
bed that's on there. But for the $200, I'd take it. I would have put it on this truck,
Hmm.
because I'm pretty sure the
bed's
the
gonna be
21
worth a
bed
grand.
would still mount on the 11 truck. So I think it would have mounted. So if the next truck, if you guys think the next truck should be a utility bed, then we just tell them we'll keep the bed and swap the bed out with this bed and junk this bed.
'Cause the bed's gonna be worth $2 grand, I would think.
Yeah, they're over $1,000. I know that.
Over $1 grand, yeah.
But that's what irritated me, where they only give you a couple $100 credit. I'm like, are you kidding me?
So the water truck that should be either utility or,
Right,
or
that-
some sort of a
And I thought of that
working-
too, was
working
the enclosed
something,
utility bed.
but when you're plowing with it,
I know,
that's
that
kind
was,
of a, I know it's.
but that one's got a plow on it.
Yeah, and that one, I think that's definitely, for the water, we should definitely have the utility with the plow, and then the way we're set up, I think that's pretty good.
Right.
Now, on the sewer.
We don't need two
portion,
plows, do we?
Yeah, you do. There's a lot of plowing. I mean, he goes out and does the stations, and I do down here, and then I go to Glen because we only have the one V plow, and Glen's so steep. I mean, I can show you videos where you start going up, you slide back down the hill. But
Well, we got screwed on that deal when we could've had a nice road put in.
we were a year too early.
So, on the wastewater truck, I mean, what does that really, what do we use that for? I mean, does it have to be
Well, it's all the pump stations.
okay, so more of a,
I mean, we use that when we go grab like the mud pump, or a lot of when we go do leaks and stuff, we throw a lot of
in the
the
back?
equipment stuff in the back of that.
Now, inside of half a truck, you buy
It's-
put the money aside for half of it this year?
No, it's split between water and sewer.
Oh, all right, it's split between the two, okay.
So I got half up here and half down here.
Oh, so we get, okay.
I called it half
I
truck
didn't
up
know
here,
if
and I
you
called it
put-
split truck down here.
Put
I only
money
want to buy half of it this year.
and then half next year, but,
I'm gonna buy the front half this year, so we can drive around.
well, no, I figured, put it aside and then
Yeah, no.
next year buy one, all right.
So, yeah, so we need to have does it have to be enough to, well, we're gonna need a second truck with a plow, you don't wanna.
And the reason, and when we looked at it, that 250 was less than a 150, because that was originally what we were looking at.
Yeah, it was cheaper.
But then it was like, wait a minute,
Yeah.
I can get this instead of that. And this is way more useful.
So definitely we need, on the vehicles, we need to have definite two trucks, one for each side on that.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the third vehicle may be,
Right, so I'm thinking like, we probably need 4 vehicles. So, the 350 new one that he drives, water, we probably need a decent vehicle for the sewer. And then the current sewer would be the third vehicle, and we need, like I said, whether it be a little car or a little SUV or whatever, whatever makes sense. I just think we don't need all pickup trucks.
yeah,
I
no,
think there's something that we could use, if we're sending the kid out to just go paint hydrants or whatever, he doesn't need an F-250 to go paint hydrants or, paint a building or whatever, or go cut the grass. If we've got mowers, somebody can drop it off, and then he just needs something to get back and forth or whatever.
I hate to say it, but electric vehicle sounds might be the route to go.
So I mean, it's not,
well,
I mean,
depending.
we don't put enough
There
miles.
could be money out there for grants for the town.
And that's what I'm thinking, that's the only reason I bring it up, is the opportunity, and the one thing that made me think of it was when I was watching one of the political BS things on TV where somebody complained about, the price of gas and I have to drive here, and, one of the Democrats' comments were, well, buy an electric vehicle. That was their answer to the gas prices,
Yeah, but electric vehicle is twice as
well
much
aware.
as anything else, so.
but
Yeah.
but there's grant opportunities, and so I just want to get you feel for it. I don't want to put too much effort into
Yeah,
going down if you guys are dead set against it.
I think
No,
we
I
should
would-
explore it and see and do it, just do an
Talk
analysis.
to Matt and see what there is for grants out there. It might be, for municipality, might get one half price and might get one for free.
Yeah.
You never know.
So I forgot where it was, but there was one state, I don't remember where it was, but they were ordering 40 Tesla pickup trucks for a utility. That's what they were.
Really?
It was a big utility, obviously, if they needed 40 trucks, but yeah, they were ordering 40 of the Tesla Cyber trucks or whatever
Phew.
to run the water and sewer department, I think.
Alright, well, let's continue on with this. Kinda late.
All right, so that's the vehicle issue.
I think we're gonna have to research that.
explore,
Yeah.
yeah. But we need to come up with a game plan at some point. Alright, so then there's 4, which are significant money there, but 4 spare pumps. So we had a spare for the waste pump. So the 4th one. So we have 3 waste pumps here. We used the spare in one of these already. So we need a spare.
For the waste pump.
Yeah, that's the spare waste pump at the
So
bottom.
that's definitely gonna be it. If we used one already, we gotta replace it.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be
For
20.
Davis Street?
No, that's for here. Davis Street, I don't have a spare, but there's 2 pumps there. So the reason I bring it up is with the conversations about, we're doing the engineering now for expanding down there.
Mhm.
I wouldn't want to take on a ton more usage there without having a spare pump.
Mhm.
I mean, I
Well,
think
that could be figured in when we do that project then.
well, that's what I was thinking. I just wanted to have it on the list that we do need a spare pump for Davis. Do I think this is the year to do it? Probably not. So I'll say we'll table that for 24,
Okay.
but it's on the list, so.
Yeah, you may need a different pump if we add on to that. No,
No,
that was
So it's-
more than big enough.
Do you think it's a definite for 24 or just a discussion for 24 as well?
I think some depends on what's going on over there.
Okay.
Like I said, if they go hog wild and get developed over there,
Mhm.
we need to get a spare pump. That's probably one of the most expensive pumps we have.
Mm-hmm.
A spare sludge decant pump. I mean, we have 2 pumps down there. One's got significantly more hours than the other, so I would say the sludge decant pump would probably go off till next year.
So 24.
So the 2 that I think we need to get is the spare waste pump and the spare post EQ pump, because we haven't changed any of the post EQ pumps, so they're 15 years old and they run multiple times a day. Those are constant, because those pump every gallon of water that goes through this place goes through those pumps.
So 23
That's
on
the
those.
EQ pump.
And I mean, some of these, again, the 6,000, I know it's a lot of money, but in the scope, it's not.
Right, I know what
maybe
you
it could
mean,
be,
end of fiscal year,
yeah,
if
end of
there's,
fiscal year possible.
so when we get closer to the end of this year, if I have money, I'm gonna buy that. I'll buy one of those out of repairing equipment or, maintenance, whatever.
Mhm.
If one of those, if it depends on what we look like at the end of this. I mean, I always, and I know if you look at the budget, it's like, all right, we got enough money, but I always look at the budget and what we brought in for revenues, because sometimes we're overestimating what our
Right,
revenues
yeah, you
are,
can't-
and I need to balance it, not just, oh, well, there's money in the
Yeah, you
budget.
can't do, right, you can't spend it on
I don't
that.
do it that
Yeah.
way, so,
Right. It's gonna balance out.
right, so if our expected revenues don't meet what we thought and it doesn't come out, then I don't just say, well, we had 300,000 that
Yeah,
we could have
you can't,
spent.
yeah,
I don't
you
do
can't,
that. So,
Well, I just gave you an extra $7,000. Or an extra 8.
so we'll put down Bob's pump.
Real.
All right. So we already kind of discussed the portable generator. Like I said, that I don't know what happened to the price on those.
Yeah, it's good.
I'm gonna look at that this year. I'm gonna say I'm not gonna try to buy it right now.
No.
It's a bad time right now.
24 possible.
Yeah. Unless I can find some kind of grant that I can jump on. Alright, so pretty much all of this went away except for these 2.
12.
So those 2, so we got 12,000. That's potentially on this.
Okay, and that would be,
If I can, although I've either got a budget for it or not, so.
either come out of the end of the
So
year
what-
or.
Yeah, why don't I budget for 1,
Mhm.
I'll potentially try to grab one at the end of this year under the existing budget.
Okay.
And if I can't get one this year, then we'll have one budgeted and hopefully we'll have money at the end of next year to buy the second one here. So we'll just budget for one.
Okay.
You understand how?
Yep.
Okay. Alright. Primary pump, well, you can cross that out, we already ordered that. It hasn't come in yet, but we've already ordered it. That was ordered months ago. The well rehab, so we have the 40,000 there that's carried over. And we're carrying that over because I needed that money to cover the difference between the engineering and the I&I.
Okay.
So that was actually under this year's budget,
So you're gonna carry that.
so I need to carry that over to this one,
So,
but I'm utilizing that funds for the engineering that we didn't budget for, that we ended up doing.
mhm.
But I think the 100,000 or whatever we have into that was well worth getting
Oh, yeah.
$8.5 million in upgrades, so.
Absolutely. So how do you wanna handle that one then?
So that one I need to carry over and work on it this year.
So it has to be into 23's budget,
Correct.
an additional increase.
Which is not, but right.
Because you're not, you just carry the workload with the number you got.
Right,
Right.
We budgeted for it, but I can't do it, so I moved it over here, so I need to do it now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I didn't take the money with me to this year.
There's no encumbrance in that, it's just.
Right.
Because we spent the money on the engineering portion. Okay.
All right.
23.
And then again, I got the fence repairs there, that was, that tree came down. So we got more fence repair to do with primary.
Yeah, I think we had built into that other one.
We did,
It was like
but that
13,000.
was,
Yeah, I know we didn't do it, but I'm just thinking the total, the number.
oh no, we did some fence repair, but
Oh, we did?
we had more trees come down.
Oh,
That's why we finally, we cut all the trees down over there now,
Yeah.
so.
yeah,
We cut anything that is potential, there's a couple more I think still need to go,
yeah,
but they look like they would go the wrong way, like, away from our stuff, so. But, you know, I think when you signed the invoice the other day, you know, we did one day of tree work, it was $1,800, but we got down a ton of trees over at Club. But I just figured, oh, there's some of that extra money, wasn't that line, it was 1,800, I figured a day a year, we'll just budget for tree work, and you see,
oh, yeah.
it's costing me more in freaking fences
Yeah.
than if I just come and have
Oh,
people
yeah.
take down some of these trees. I mean, I know I've got probably a day here,
Gypsy Moss did a number on everything.
yeah,
And
but I got a little more work to do at Glen, cause their bucket that they brought wouldn't go as far as they needed to get some of the trees that would still potentially have a problem for us that are dead. So they're standing dead, but, I've probably got a day's worth of work here, and then between Glen and Franklin Street, it's probably, so, like I said, I'll budget one day a year, just have them come in and take care of the biggest issue ones.
Sounds good.
So every year we've had a tree come down on a fence somewhere.
Mm,
So,
yeah, it's better off just putting in the budget and
yeah, like I said, I'd rather take care of
stay
them.
Yeah, it's not a big ticket item.
maintenance.
That's right, for $1,800 a year, it's worth it, because one fence repair costs more than that, so.
Yeah.
Alright, so that's in there, so that will be 23, 23. And then again, I had the building repairs at primary. The guy that was supposed to do it, when I called him to come get it done, you know, I told him before to get it done, and I waited, he never came, so I called him again, he said, yeah, I'm closed. So I gotta do something on that, but I gotta go back out to bid and get prices again, so I don't even know what number to throw in there.
Mhm.
I intend to do something with it, but I might depending on what the price is, I'll try to cover it under repairs and maintenance, and depending on how I go, if I need to, I'll do fall town meeting after that. So I'm gonna put fall town meeting on that. But I didn't have a dollar over there anyway, so it's not really fucking. Alright, so capital items. I got 3 kind of big ticket items. One is the valve exercise and trailer. I don't know if I showed you guys the paperwork on that.
You did, yeah.
So, yeah, I think we talked about it in one of the meetings. So,
Yeah.
I mean, just with all these upgrades that are going on, and with the size of the buildings and the customers that we're gonna service through this, we really need to get on better track with the valve exercising program. I mean, I wrote out a plan several years ago. I actually wrote the plan when the other Steve was here, and he went through and did all the valves one year. So we've got some valves that we know are broke. We've got some that the operating nut is just rounded off. We bought a tool that we can still work on those and make them work. But it's not the best scenario to be in if you're in an emergency. You know, you've got one, we have to come down here and get it. It's like one of those gator
Yeah,
sockets.
yeah. Puts on a reverse thread type thing, easy out type thing.
Well, it's a gator. So, you know, you ever see those sockets that have all the little pins?
Yeah.
So it forms down around it. So whatever the shape is, it'll go around it and grab. So
Oh, I see, yeah.
So it's just a far more expensive version of that than the actual little one. But
Yeah, I was thinking like the easy out type system, you know, that.
yeah, I know what you're saying. But
Right.
this doesn't damage it anymore. It
Right,
just
just
forms
forms
around it
around
and
it.
makes it
That's
grip.
it.
Yeah. I know we've got a couple over. Like we're going to take care of a couple of them with this project. There's 2 up here. That one that comes off of Main Street, that first one right in front of the greenhouse there, number 2 or whatever it was, and then the one on C Street are both rounded, and the one over on Manchog, right at A Street, but it's on the main line, that one's rounded. We ended up taking, you know, those things that you put on your dash to hold stuff from slipping.
Mm-hmm.
We took one of those and wrapped it inside the wrench and got it on there, and it gripped it enough that we could operate it when we had to over there that time.
The exercise valve is a good idea, but
So this valve exercise and trail is about $100,000. But just, we need it to make sure that, I mean, you got one company spending, you know, $150 million on a building, another one spending almost $100 million, and then they're relying on us for fire protection. So if we have I've got to figure out, we must have a valve that's half broken, closed over on Manchog somewhere, because you know how you lost pressure up there when we had that leak over here? That shouldn't have happened, because that water should have been coming down Manchog fine, because you guys shouldn't be using enough water to drop that pressure. So we got to figure out what's going on over there, and it's one of the reasons that there's even more of a need that we need the exercising trailer. I mean, if you think about it, we probably got close to 400 valves, and to go out there and turn them each one by hand, and there's sometimes that me and him get on them, and we've got 3-foot wrenches on each side of the tool trying to get the things to turn.
they should be done at least once a year, right?
It's the industry standard is once every 3 years. So what you're supposed to do
Once
is
every 3.
do a third of them one year, a third of them the next year, and a third of them. So every year you're doing valves, you just do a portion of them every year. So it should just be part of the continuous, and that's the way I wrote the program, was a third every year.
Well, what would it cost us to rent one of these?
If you're doing a third every year and you rent it, and it's based on when you have time to go out. I mean, if we had a staff of 7 here, I could say, yeah, we can dedicate 2 weeks.
Oh, I see what you're saying, yeah.
But
you
renting it
can't-
and saying, oh, we're going to rent it for a week and then only get out 2 days with it, and then,
Right, yeah.
you know, and I'm sure it wouldn't be cheap to rent. So
No,
it's something that we know we need to use forever. I just think it's something that we need. So
that's a lot to send one guy out and do just that.
Well, I think the other thing too is these, like I said, all this, the new projects coming in. It's all big valves, big things.
yeah, I mean, these are 16-inch valves that are coming down here now. They're on Main Street and they're coming down here. It's 50 turns to try to do that. And if you want to see how much work that is, I can take you out there and let you try to close one of those valves.
16-inch valve? Ooh,
Yeah,
wow,
it's
I don't
50
know about
turns.
that.
So
You'd have to have arms at least 4 feet long.
yeah, I mean
There's
trust
two
me, you
guys
don't
on
have to
each
go to the
one.
gym for a while after you're doing the valve exercises for a
Yeah.
week, but like I said, like 400 valves, you try to go out there and do those, there's just not enough time to do them all by hand. But in order to make sure everything is working properly and we can isolate valves to isolate sections, so we don't have to isolate more of an area, you know, when these people, you know, the way we're trying to get this set up is so they'll have good fire flows no matter what happens. If a line goes down, we shut that section and it's fed from another way. You know, I mean, you guys know that I push for loops everywhere, so that's the reason behind it is you shut down smaller sections. But if a valve doesn't work and you go beyond here, and now you've got two other, you know, you end up shutting down 12 valves in a quarter of the town because you've got a valve that doesn't work. So it's pretty important for emergency response and everything else. So it's a big ticket item, and I can tell you we don't have a ton of money in retained earnings. We kind of wiped out a lot doing engineering, so
Yeah, I think a lot of we have expended a lot of money on engineering for these projects coming down, which was money well spent.
it was money well spent, but
Is some of that
was
coming
kinda-
back?
it was unanticipated. No,
Yeah.
that money's not
No,
coming back.
it's gone.
I mean, I think that the three items, it'd be in a perfect world, I'd like to say that we could budget for them and get them, but I don't think based on the
Yeah, the
current
The
budget.
current absolute needs that we need to keep operating
Yeah,
kind of trump this, but I mean, you need it. I
Yeah.
mean, it's something that's needed in order to maintain reliability and
Mm-hmm.
you know, quality and everything else. And it keeps costs down. I mean, to replace a valve, you're talking, you know, $15,000 between digging it up and cutting it in and everything else. So, and that was one of the other things. You know, the second item is the Kubota. It's a mini excavator, so you know we're not looking for something that we can go put in mains with.
Right, yeah.
But we can dig up the fire hydrants. I mean, we got at least half a dozen fire hydrants set it down. But it takes up a day if we try to tie up highway. So we've got half a highway tied up to come down and dig it up, and our guys tied up to do it. And it's trying to schedule. You know, it's hard for us to schedule because we don't have a ton of staff. So if something's going on, or we say, "Hey, John, can we do this on Thursday?" and John's like, "All right," and he lines his guys up, and then we have something else happen. You know, then we get pulled away, and you know, I got nobody to go do it. So
I mean, so far we work good together and it's been working out great.
yeah, we work
But-
great together. I'm just and
Like you say,
this is something that you know John could also use here and there, where you know this would save John some money because he rents a similar size machine every year. I think he rents it for like 2 weeks with a mulcher thing on the end to do the culverts to keep those clean so they flow correctly. So 2 weeks is like 10 grand. So, and I mean, you know, they use their backhoe for us all the time. So, you know, for us to let them use it, they can save some money. It's kind of a, you know, one hand washes the other. So, and then the dump trailer, you know, that's just, I sized this machine so that we can pull it with these pickup trucks. So if we got a dump trailer and the pickup truck, we can go do a lot of these things without tying up highway. If we have you know, that valve exerciser also has a small like Vactor type setup on it to Vactor out the gate boxes and all that. So you know, this is the industrial version of Dave doing doing valves and stuff because he used to go out there with the rigid shop vac. But so if we had the dump trailer and the Kubota, I sized it so it doesn't trigger a Class B or CDL license. You know, we can drive it with these pickup trucks and the dump trailer. We won't be over any weight that requires any of that.
Right.
But we can accomplish a lot with that setup. So when we're doing valve exercising, if we have a broken valve, you know, if we have the mini excavator and a dump trailer, we could do that work ourselves without tying up highway. So when we have the bigger projects, like a major water main break or something, you know, we can still rely on John, but I'm not trying to say, yeah, John, I need your staff for half the year to
Right,
to work on our stuff. So, so that's 3 things right there that total about 200 grand.
yeah. Based on everything we've got in front of us and going over the budget, I know it's a need, but I think we spent so much money in engineering to do other projects down here. I think.
You know, we definitely have to hold off on that.
I think so.
So, I mean, it's nice, but
In a perfect world, I'd say, yeah, that'd be great, let's
Yeah.
spend it, but I think maybe the, we could review it again down the line.
Yeah. Alright, I'll push those off to 24 for now.
24. Revisit.
All right.
Alright, portable generator, we already talked about it there. Half the truck, we already talked about it there. I just had it written twice. So that covers all of them.
All right, what do we have for
So
spare
we're
money?
gonna be
In other
looking-
words, these things have to come out of what?
Alright, so what we've got here is 97,000 up top.
45.
What'd you say?
45
25.
for the carryover and the fence, right?
Yes.
So
So we
45.
skipped the pilot study that I had to carry over as well. That was 25.
Where am I in that? Oh, yeah,
This one
25.
here.
So we got 97, 142. And then we got 52, 62, 67, 167. 167 plus the 6, right? 173. My math is right.
128 for sewer. 45. What'd you say?
173.
Yeah. Alright, so the stuff up top, the 97,
Mm-hmm.
and we didn't include the 25 for the fire panel there, but like I said, I'll probably try to get someone in and give me a price and figure out what we have there, and if it's workable in the budget, I'll do it. If not, we'll look at it for fall town meeting.
So out of the 173,
So the 97, those I figured were system development. You know, we're redeveloping these things here.
Yeah, it'll come out of that.
From system development, yeah, for sewer.
What do we have in there?
150, 822. But that was at year end. Last year. So I can tell you that we've put a significant amount of money in there now, so that will get replenished. So that's where I'm looking at that 97 from.
Okay, then now we have a balance of the 76,000.
So the pilot study, I'm gonna have to say that's probably retained earnings.
Okay. Okay.
The 6,000, that again retained earnings because that's
Okay.
it's spare parts.
Mhm.
And the 45 again would be retained earnings. It's repairs and.
Yep.
I mean, I could almost argue the well rehab would be system development. We're redeveloping. That's actually what it's called. You're redeveloping the well.
Which one are we looking at?
The well rehab. So to rehab the wells.
Oh, okay.
That's, like I said, and that's what they call it. They call it a well redevelop the well. So I can technically justify the well rehab under system development on the water side. And we
Okay.
have 57.5 that was certified
So
previously.
5 from retained earnings,
So 5 from retained and
40 from system developments.
from retained, we're looking at 36. And then we would have 97 on sewer development.
System development,
Yeah, sewer system development.
Yep.
I was just
okay.
trying to make me not have to write so much.
Mhm.
And then
The balance would be,
40 from water development. So does my number work there? 36 plus 97 plus
76, yeah.
173.
Yeah. Okay.
So that cover it?
Yep. So we need a total, so we have a total budget of,
Yeah. So my papers are. I do my budget.
so 1,369,12 plus 1,542, 112. Is that right? You go up the same number?
1542112.
Yep. That's what I have. Okay. So I would make a motion to approve the budget as presented of the $1,542,112 for the FY '23 budget.
You have to second it, I can't.
And everything's covered.
You have to second that motion, Josie.
Oh, I make a second. Second the motion?
Yep.
All right.
So
All in
a
favor?
vote. Aye. All right, very good. That wasn't so bad.
No.
A little long, but it came right out and went through smoothly.
Well, the meeting wasn't that long.
The what?
I said
Well,
the
I know,
meeting wasn't
but
that
yeah.
long. It was many hours of nights and mornings
Yeah,
trying
it's still
to.
on camera, I forget what that.
Yeah, so
So I need to make a motion to adjourn
Oh,
at 3:33.
second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.